Give us some good entertainment that lets us escape from the humdrum existence that a lot of us have.
I don't believe you, Critical Drinker, and I definitely do not believe Gary from Nerdrotic. Hey everyone, my name is Eric, and I'm going to expose their grift in less than 1 minute, so pay attention. These guys exist in a space where their entire foundation is based on hating something the minute we get news or information about it. That means there's no reality where they won't continue to astroturf and be mad about stuff because it is their business model. Their pay pigs / fans want to pay them and be supportive of them for them to get on camera and scream and get upset about the thing. They want them to say the thing, they want them to be angry. This is their existence. They don't actually want Disney or Marvel or Lucas or any of these companies to change what they're doing because it would destroy their business model, and there is no financial incentive for them to be happy or excited about any of this stuff. So this entire video that I clipped this from is absolutely disingenuous. They're all liars and grifters. They just want their pay pigs to put money in their bank accounts. That's their grift.
That's the thing. So they might have hintings of things that are correct. There might be like little things, little factoids they have that help booster their arguments, and that's why their arguments will carry weight with people. But like when you look at the broad arguments, it's wrong. Like the whole argument essentially, comic book stores are suffering and they're not doing well. True. And then you're like, and the reason why is because there's lots of women writing comic books and too many women characters. False. That's actually a way of expanding the demographic and getting more people to read comic books. But they'll use that argument and then get everybody like, yeah, yo, that's what changed. That's what's different. And, you know, you get that hint of truth. That hint of truth. Comic book stores are suffering. Oh, that hint of truth. And then you can get all these people go, what's the reason for that? And then you can start selling them the lies. Then it's because of women. It's because of minorities. They're taking over the white male space. Complete fucking bullshit.
I know what Glenn Beck's butthole looks like.
Let's keep exhausting the bank accounts of a small demographic of loyal pay pigs over and over again.
You know, I could talk about why I don't like anti-fandom, but I'd rather talk about why I like the term anti-fandom, because I think it's a really good term. Anti-fandom, this movement, isn't about fandom or the media. It's about power, it's about brotherhood and ganging up. It's about feeling like you know some big secret, like you're the little guy taking on the big, shadowy, leftist, woke powers. At the end of the day, it's make-believe, it's playing pretend for adults. Or, you know, man-children. Despite what any of them say, it isn't about fandom. It's contrary to the definition of fandom, which is basically liking things together as a community. The end result of all this is just a vortex of hate and misery, and it's all revolving around this missing center where the media or the community or the liking should be, and it just isn't.
Oh, she's so, it's the Sunny and Brave. Oh my God.
Welcome to every video we make. We use one little thing and then we build the narrative out of it.
Other people besides white dudes, like Star Wars. I'm just saying, we need to be conscious of our bias.
We talked about this one thing and we make a whole video out of it. That's what we do.
Weird.
You are the real superhero.
Well, I'm built like a goddamn brick.
Is he some sort of masochist?
How do you do, fellow kids? You did something very interesting with Star Wars. Think about it. The good guys are the rebels. They're using asymmetric warfare against a highly organized empire. I think we call those guys terrorists. Were you thinking of that at the time?
Force cannon safe!
And the same goes with Miles Morales. He is indeed, again, Miles Morales. He's also a Spider-Man.
I really dislike the fake geek thing and the poser nerd thing. That's not what we're about.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
Every fucking conceivable opportunity so you can burn through.
The Fandom Initiative is a group of people on a mission to counter anti-woke sentiment on YouTube.
Right, you fuckers.
We are passionate fans of film, TV, comics, and video games. We'd love to make YouTube videos about the things we enjoy, but the culture of YouTube fandom makes this impossible, thanks to certain networks and clusters of content creators who depend on outrage, deception, and harassment to drive clicks and bring in revenue. The YouTube algorithm pushes harmful content to fans who are at risk of indoctrination by consuming repetitive right-wing rage bait videos.
Damn, dude. Yes. Some people would like to think that like you can be like 100% objective when watching something. Like remove your bias and just critique it like the truth. You can't.
So like, what is fucking bringing all these guys together other than like, I'm mad at fucking Brie Larson? What?
If I can't be a misogynist to you, I don't know what to do with you.
I oftentimes get called a shill.
Fuck it, man. Don't be worried about that shit.
But here's the thing. My picture is not on the wall in the lobby of Marvel Studios.
More and more people are fed up with that toxic content and culture.
Honestly, it makes us sound really cool.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa! What's that? Oh, that's a shit. Why don't you go and subscribe to it? I dare you. I fucking dare you.
Got it. Get it. Got it. Good.
What? Pro-Antifa YouTubers targeting bounding into comics? That's fucking terrible. That sounds awful, guys. Oh, organized chaos, actual fandom into... Oh, shit. Well, let's bring this guy on to answer for this. Bob, you wanna explain this? What's going on, man?
Well, do I get browbeat somebody?
I mean, that's apparently what we're doing. So that's what we do. That's our thing. We browbeat the presence of Christianity in modern media. That's all we do. You know that.
Yeah, that's how we roll. What else would we do?
Hello.
I mean, come on.
Can you explain why we do? Why are we like this, Turf? Why are we fucking like this? We're pro-Antifa YouTubers that we browbeat the presence of modern Christianity in modern media. Why do we do that?
Because we're fucking jealous, man.
That's what it is.
We're jealous of success.
Yep.
That
We
is
wish
true.
we could be like them, and so we do the good old kindergarten tactic of when you have a crush on a girl, you bully them. That's what we're doing.
I mean, we're probably doing it because we're jealous of their success, and we would like, we want their fans to come look at our channel and
Well-
give us thoughtful, constructive advice.
But maybe we should try just like doing the exact same thing that they do, though. Instead, wouldn't that be a
Ooh.
better avenue to, you know?
The
No?
exact same thing. Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea. Fuck Brie
Well-
Larson.
Fuck her, you know?
I don't know if you saw this, but on Twitter, Brie Larson said to see some new movie.
Yeah, no,
That's
yeah,
probably
this is-
liberal agenda shit.
I found this a while back, and I don't know how long it's been up, but I guess they probably put it up around the time that we made that video where we were like, hey, you guys should like announce like at the top of all of your web pages that you are a fucking Christian fascist
Yeah.
publication. We'll leave you alone, basically, as long as you're honest about that. And then they decided that was an attack on them, and that we're like, where are they getting pro Antifa from? I mean, is it because we're just like,
I mean, well, Antifa's hardly an organization as it is,
Right.
but like, if
I
they
mean,
just
yeah,
wanna
I'm
say
not
we're-
taking issue
we're
with it. I'm just
pro-anti-
wondering.
If they just want to say we're pro anti-fascist, then I can get down with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when like pro Antifa, personally, compared to like I think a lot of other people, especially in the US, I don't really know much about Antifa.
Yeah,
as
for
as like the movement. I mean,
Well,
I
I mean,
definitely
neither
am
do
pro
the people that act like they're.
anti-fascist. But it's
Like,
like,
the people that are always like, oh, Antifa is like is some evil thing that's like an organization that's trying to undermine
Yeah.
American civilization or whatever. And it's like, not really, man. It's I've known some people that have kind of identified in that way of being an Antifa person, and
Yeah.
generally they're like regular ass people. They're just
Yeah.
like. But then whenever they're like, hey man, there's Nazis that are marching through our city, like, I don't want to do this, but like we got to do this, and they do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what it typically is. Anyway, hello and welcome.
Welcome.
Man, we're all three here, and then I guess DJ's not making it today. That's okay. Maybe he will. Sometimes he surprises us.
Yeah, he'll
Yeah.
pop in sometimes. We will see.
He's the gift
Well-
that sometimes gives.
So there was already some kerfuffle on Bob's channel in the chat because I guess this one guy or somebody, in case you guys don't know, I name the streams differently sometimes depending on, like, even though they're the same stream, they're on different channels. I'll name them differently, kind of just to advertise the different topics we'll be covering, kind of spread it out, right? And so on Bob's channel, I had it set to focus on the Chris Stuckman situation.
Yeah.
And well, apparently there's a lot of people that are really, really into that situation. And then, it's just like, and then there's insecure people from EFAP who show up and they think that, and this is exactly the point, because people don't realize they're watching it on one channel, that it's actually streaming to 5 total channels right now. And so they see like whatever total number of people that are watching on that specific channel, they think that's all there is. And then they want to like, haha, you've only got so-and-so number of people watching or whatever. And it's like, you dumb bastard. You don't know anything. So then I just ban them, because if that's the first thing they're going to do when they show up is, play a numbers game. But, I will say, go ahead. Sorry.
I will, to my understanding, numbers equal correctness. So the more people we have watching, the more correct we are.
That is true.
It is good that they explained this to me. Otherwise, I think that has nothing to do with it.
I see. So this is the situation at hand. This is why it's been 2-3 people have mentioned him already so far.
Oh. Well, I'm sure he has a reasonable take on it.
Look, I mean, he has to fucking go after Chris Stuckman. He has to. It is his livelihood, his bread and butter, that Chris Stuckman is attacking the very fucking concept of, by just not wanting to talk shit on a movie that he did.
To actually, well, I mean, it seems like he just wants to, like, maybe if we're going to even attack movies like Madam Web, maybe make sure to focus it on the studio executive system that create it, and the executives who are just interested in pumping money into it, rather than the actual artists who are just getting shit on.
Yeah.
Because the artists probably go through hell making a movie that they're not proud of and not happy with. And then, you know, when it comes out, they just get shit on because it's not a good movie. And then, you know, everybody's like, why do you make a bad movie? It's like, they had no way to prevent it. Like, Jesus. There's so much that goes into making a studio movie. It's not just they hire people and let them do whatever the fuck they want.
I'm looking at his stream right now. It's called The Assassination of Chris Stuckman by the coward Chris Stuckman, and he has Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker along with some other.
Well, maybe we might have to kind of look at some of that. I don't know, but like, look, we don't need to look. This is the thing, okay? Let's face it. Like, what are you talking about? We've known that. It's been obvious for fucking years that Sony's Spider-Man properties are fucking shit that nobody, like, if they manage to eke out a halfway entertaining one, it's like, good job, Sony, you know, and you get a pat on the head.
That's the thing, the Venom ones are halfway entertaining, not because they're good, because Tom Hardy's doing some weird fucking shit with his performance. Like, it's not, like, good.
No. I mean, even like the Andrew Garfield trilogy, it's like Sony kind of, or not trilogy, but like those movies, like those are also Sony properties. Those are also kind of like I mean they're better than a lot of this like the stuff that they've been putting out recently. But it's like just in general, like compared to Marvel Studios, Sony has really not been doing very well with Spider-Man. Or
With the
just like
exception of their animated stuff,
that is
okay.
true.
So I see people asking, like, how do we distinguish? But like, you know, somebody this guy who was in chat earlier, kind of having a meltdown. Several comments in Bob's chat before the stream even started. Is it the studios that make a movie good, or is it the actors and directors? Well, everything contributes to a thing. Every element of a thing is part of the thing. However, look, like I've been saying, nobody woke up. There wasn't a screenwriter that was like, I'm inspired to write a fucking movie about Madam Web, a character
there wasn't a director saying, I'm going to put together a pitch and pitch it to the studio about Madam Web. I'm excited.
She's never had her own title. She's never even been in her own fucking comic book. She literally just shows up to be basically a plot contrivance so that she can go, oh, the Web of Fate and Spider-Man and just what blah, blah, blah. Like, that is not something that anybody was inspired creatively to do. It is obviously a studio thing of them looking at their list of characters and IP that falls under the Spider-Man IP, and they go, Madam Web, I don't know. And then there's these other Spider Girls. There's other girls that are Spider Girls. We can take all those and just shove them in a fucking movie. And then they hire people to make that happen, who accept the jobs because everybody needs a job. And these are creatives who, you know, whether or not they're any good or not, I don't know. You know, if they have, exactly. They might be really great with the right material, but and then so that's how this came about. It's pretty clear that's how it came about, and that's what Chris Stuckman is criticizing in his video. And people are fucking losing their minds because he doesn't want to just spend an hour shitting on the movie. Like, it, you know, this dude in chat earlier before stream started was like, "Oh, I just wish you had the balls to say it was bad." And it's like, he has said it's bad.
Yeah, he's saying it's bad.
He's not reviewing it. He said he doesn't want to review bad movies. He's saying it. Y'all are just mad that he doesn't want to fucking shit talk it. And you've probably already watched 50 videos of people shit talking it. You know?
That's what I say. There's 50 video. There's at least 50, like tons of videos of people shit talking it. Hell, I shit talked it a little bit on my podcast last week. But like, we need to.
Oh, it looks like underdog
he's
shit.
Just saying, just like, you know, analyze it thoughtfully. Don't just shit on the director or the writers, because there's lots of people doing that. And one thing I think is definitely worth noting is while this is S.J. Clarkson's directorial debut as a feature film, before this, her biggest credit was working on the Jessica Jones series. Now, I don't know what your guys' thoughts on it, but I thought the Jessica Jones series was pretty fucking good. And Jessica Jones is definitely a comic book character where someone could read that and say, ooh, I have a great idea on how to handle something like that. Because there's a lot of meat to the Jessica Jones story. Not so much Madam Web.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Dumb and Dumber, like, it seems like you're trying to find a reason to not like S.J. Clarkson, it sounds like, honestly. Because it could be that maybe she did, you know, accept the job because, hey, this is something I could actually work with this idea. Even though I didn't come up with it, and this is a studio fucking mandated movie, maybe I can make this, you know, really good. And then she does her best with it. But then Sony is just, look, they're known for kind of like getting their fingers in the pie almost as much as Warner Brothers was.
I mean, look at what happened with Spider-Man 3. Like, Sam Raimi came off Spider-Man 2. Great fucking movie. my all-time favorite superhero movie. And then he follows it up with Spider-Man 3, and then you find out all the studio meddling behind the scenes, how he didn't want Venom in it. You can really tell he didn't want Venom in that movie. There is so much, yeah. And if they
Yeah.
can meddle with Sam Raimi, of course they can meddle with S.J. Clarkson in her directorial debut.
We've seen this stuff play out over and over again. If you're not familiar with the history of like, especially like superhero movies and like the production meddling and stuff like that, or even outside of superhero movies, just genre movies or whatever, you should kind of learn about that stuff, because you can start to see patterns emerge and you can see things repeat themselves. And it's not just all like, I don't know, as simplistic as some people want to make it out. But you know who's not going to make things simplistic is our guest today, writer, YouTuber, Chariot. Hello, Chariot. Sorry for taking a while to bring you in. I'm not going to make you answer for us being pro Antifa YouTubers. So,
yeah, how does it feel being on?
Oh,
stream
I am also well known. Yeah,
pro Antifa YouTuber.
I've been known to do a little anti-fascism as such.
But do you browbeat the presence of Christianity in modern media? That's really like
that's requirement.
I spend 6 hours a video browbeating Christians.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah.
Welcome.
No, but I mean,
Welcome
I take Christianity I think more seriously than a lot of Christians do.
Same.
And I know that's a contentious statement, but I watched, for example, there was like a Christians react to the beginning of Has Been Hotel on YouTube, where multiple Christians in their video, which is supposedly oriented around giving a Christian perspective, multiple of them claim that Lilith, as in the figure of scripture, is an invention of Gnosticism, which is completely wrong, like just getting it absolutely incorrect. Lilith predates Gnosticism, so that's goofy. And I don't know, dude. People are very silly. Talking to Demon Mama and talking to people kind of in my sphere has warmed me up to the idea of talking about Christianity more. So that's what I do now, I guess. That's my new beat.
Yeah. Nice.
Sweet. Well, I mean, yeah, more power to you, because it's definitely something that deserves a lot of criticism. So, especially from people that kind of know how to apply critical thought to things, like yourself. You make a lot of good stuff.
Oh, well, thank
a lot
you.
of good content.
Yeah.
Let me go ahead and
when I was in my philosophy minor, I was doing a lot of like reading of like discourses on Christian theology and stuff like that. So I'm very well used to it. I don't talk about that too much, but like reading like Descartes and Leibniz and stuff like that. I know some of the apologetics arguments.
What would you say is like I don't know, this might be a random question, like the best argument for Christianity in society, right? Like
I talk about this a little bit in the Dark Souls video, but like if you look at Nietzsche, one of the biggest indictments of Christianity is the way that history and Christians have put the Christian God in competition with the rest of society, such that he and Christianity and their tradition is kind of used at first to explain certain things about the world, and then when science ends up giving better explanations, science becomes the defeater for the godly explanation and the spiritual explanation. When I think the reality of the situation is the thing that keeps drawing people back into Christianity and making like 14-year-old like kids trad on YouTube is that there's all of this great Christian art and all of this beautiful stuff that's been made, and frequently stuff that, like, if you look at Dante or if you look at Milton, not necessarily in defiance of Christian tradition and scripture, but definitely like inventing new ideas about like God and heaven and hell and things like that. If Christians weren't so cringe and constantly attacking people like Vivzipop, what they would do rightfully is embrace it. But I think that the thing that's killing Christianity is Christian nationalism, because it puts Christianity in competition with everything that's good about society. So it's, really conservatism that's killing Christianity, probably more than anything else. If full disclosure, I come from a Catholic background. I don't think God is real. I don't think hell or heaven is real. That's just my personal philosophical position. But
I mean,
you know,
I mean, they're
I
hot
agree.
takes I 100% agree with.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of in the same.
When people believe in that stuff, it tends to, in my experience, big Irish Catholic family, it tends to come from a very emotional place. It's a meaningful thing for them that exists pretty well beyond the scope of reason. And that's not how I do, but I appreciate, like I have relatives who think that way, and they're kind people and nice people. So I'm not an anti-Christian hater necessarily, but I think that when you take Christianity seriously, you start walking into a lot of arguments and a lot of ideas that I find a lot of the ostensibly pro-Christian positions pretty baffling and absurd.
Well, I mean, like just the thing that sparked this whole conversation is that post on IMDb from those folks that said the initiative is like, what we do is we get together to browbeat the presence of Christianity in modern media. And it's like, I don't know that we've really ever had like much of a conversation about Christianity other than right now.
No.
And then like talking about criticizing bounding into comics and how, they present their, news and stuff. And they would have literally have some bishop or cardinal or something have something to say about whatever nerd news story and start going off about queer people and stuff and saying they're sinners in the article. And it's like, other than that, like we've done hundreds of streams or I don't know. And it's like, we've never really just gone in on Christianity. So it's like, they're literally lying about, while being like, we're Christians and they're fucking oppressing us. They're victimizing us. Yeah.
This is a wonderful case for the usage of the term bad faith, because in the sense that Sartre uses it, it's a term that is at once both like argumentative and psychological. The people saying that about you guys are bad faith, but they're delusional. Because some people, and some of them might just be lying, and that would be just them taking an uncharitable read of what you do. But I think it goes beyond that for a lot of Christians, because when you look at evangelical scholarship and advocacy, there is genuinely a lot of commentary that would lead one to believe that these people think they're fighting literal demons. And it's in fact an argument of convenience for a lot of them to say that, well, I don't have to reason with you because you're just like the devil is possessing you essentially. And so what I'm actually doing is using Christianity and scripture as a sword to fight on God's behalf in a spiritual battle. And that kind of becomes the tenor of the conversation once things go there. So when people make insinuations about you attacking Christianity, I think that's kind of the context to take that in.
Well, and then of course there's just so many different interpretations of it. There's like, which one are you talking about? Sorry, Bob.
I just want to say I'm not a demon. I swear. You can't.
A demon would say that, wouldn't he? Though, wouldn't a demon?
That's what a demon would say. Yeah,
that's exactly what a demon would say.
No, trust me.
You're organized chaos. That's chaos. I mean,
I only
that's demonic.
Goats on the weekend. Jesus.
Yeah. I actually do.
Not demonic at all.
I haven't told anybody this. I literally haven't said this to anybody, but I'm going to say it now. I subscribe to the newsletter of a writer for one of these chud websites. I don't think he writes for Bounding into Comics, but nonetheless. And I just I read his newsletter, I think every week or so. And it's like, he is one of these people that talks about demons and in the first few times that he's I'm just reading it fascinated, utterly who is he talking to and about? This is insane. But is he writing it as a form of he's being very is he being poetic in a sense? Is he kind of but no, I think he's thinking about this stuff literally like this, that there's actually a satanic effort, which basically by satanic he means anything that isn't explicitly aggressively Christian, which is kind of just that's a stance to take, man. You know what I mean?
Well, and it is the implication of believing that you're in a battle between heaven and hell. That if you're representing God, which again there's that narcissism of just kind of assuming that you're a soldier of God. It's kind of fascinating because of course then anything that you oppose, if by virtue of your taking a position it is also God's position, then anything you oppose is against God. And so what forces manifest against God? Well, hell, Satan, the devil,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, I at some point I'll do a video about the idea of Satan and Lucifer and stuff like that, because it is a really fascinating concept. And I didn't touch on it too much in the last big essay that I dropped, where I talked about like
Oh my
Christian
God.
ideas. But
So I'm sorry,
so
I just
much,
opened up
yeah.
my emails just to see, and there's a new one, and this one's a trip. I'm just going to read like a bit piece from it, just so you guys get an idea of what this guy gets into. As mentioned before, I've been studying paranormal phenomenon for decades. Besides perennial night hag visitations and dreams about not getting on planes that end up crashing, I never come across anything like these accounts until a few years ago. Nor did reports of these specific kinds get any coverage to speak of on shows like In Search of or Unsolved Mysteries. At one reader's suggestion, I looked up U.S. baptism rates, and then he's got a graph here that shows like baptism rates from 1940 to 2010. And there's a pretty clear downward trend. Sure enough, the number of kids receiving baptism and being raised by parents in sacramental marriages declined in the post-war years. But in keeping with the death of religion being a psyop, baptism has made a comeback of late. Like, he's just got this whole fucking narrative, and it's clearly tied into the right-wing political fever dreams they have. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cover this stuff. And sorry. Nonetheless, yeah. Did you have anything to say about the Chris Stuckman thing? Have you looked into any of that at all? Or do you want to look into it?
Yeah, well, we were talking about that a little bit, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
That came up when we spoke earlier. I did want to actually respond to something in chat. GM Morgan said, definitely sounds like the Rapture stuff and the D&D Satanic Panic stuff we've covered on Sunday. And that is a fascinating comment to me, because the whole reason I really care about this in a certain light is the Satanic Panic and what the kind of just the horror that has manifested as a result of the weaponization of ideas around Satanism and everything in our society. For all the research that I've done into various elements, you have to kind of look at them individually at first. Like I looked into the McMartin cases. If you guys don't know what those are, don't look at it. It's an incredibly dark thing where a woman alleged a bunch of child abuse.
Oh yeah, that was what literally kind of set off the Satanic Panic of the 80s, more or less.
It was one of the big fire starters for the movement, because there was a woman who had some real problems, and was herself, it later came out, mistreating her child. Just kind of took him to a doctor over and over again, and through means invasive, had them repeatedly inspect her son, until eventually, after having it done so much, like whatever it was, like the 10th doctor or something, not David Tennant, but just a doctor was down the line, ended up like saying, well, I mean, it seems like there's been a lot of like poking around here. Like, I guess, your son could be being abused.
Yeah.
And then she took that and ran with it. All sorts of, stuff that if you look into it, like, there are people who give it some credence, which I find insane, because she was saying like, oh, these teachers at this school, they're levitating, they're flushing children down toilets, they're doing animal blood sacrifices. And of course, like, only the strictly like absolute most tenuous evidence that could possibly exist is even remotely ever brought up. But it's actually a famous case for legal reasons, because
lives were ruined because of that shit.
Yeah, and because of the way children were coached through through the process of putting them on the stand in the court. It became a landmark case for that reason, and people study it now. And I've read some like legal scholars write about how insightful it is. But yeah, no, lives were ruined.
Well, for anybody that's not aware, that's kind of just what we cover on Sundays here on the channel and on the Forced Adversity podcast, is essentially moral panics and just people being generally irrationally opposed to things that are either non-existent or generally pretty cool and harmless. That's what we do. In fact, this Sunday we're going to be talking about that old bitch Kaya Rychik. lives of TikTok.
She's lovely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, she seems nice.
Yep.
What a lady.
Definitely really not dried up and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna go into it. I'll wait. I'll save it for
She's
Sunday.
definitely not dead inside.
It's it's a real shame looking at that.
But that does give us an opportunity. Unfortunate that we have to take the opportunity, but I did want to make sure to do that. So sorry, where is it? Oh, wanted to just take a moment for Next Benedict.
Yeah.
Who was murdered by other kids at a high school in Oklahoma. For essentially, it seems to be the case that they've been bullied for a while for being non-binary, and it was like apparently 3 older girls that at the school that it's unclear how it all shakes out and everything like that, but yeah. And there's Oklahoma in particular. There's been several states, but Oklahoma in particular has a really unique connection to Kaya Reichik, because their school superintendent apparently is this big culture war shithead, and he hired her for an unpaid position. Kaya lives of TikTok, to essentially just kind of examine books in the school libraries that kids have access to, make sure there's not any pornography. Which just means it mentions a gay person or something like
yeah, probably.
When you look at a lot of the stuff that gets talked about, it's I mean it's crazy, because I brought this up, man, people were seething at me for this back when I first did this. I a while back now uploaded a video where I talked about when Tim Pool called Emma Vigeland a pedophile on his show, because of some of the stances that she was taking about book bans and some of the anti-trans stuff. She's a big ally. Shout out to Emma. She's great.
Oh yeah.
But he said some really nasty stuff in that conversation. One of the things that I pointed out is like if having I don't know, let's think of something, kind of descriptive, like a sex scene. If having a sex scene in a book is considered too much, for kids, maybe you can put that in a high school book. We had to read like The Color Purple when I was in high school. That's got a really graphic sexual assault scene, and other literature like that we read. But let's put it before that, middle school. Well, I read 1984, every right winger's favorite book that they pretend to have read. It's astonishing. There's a lot of banging in that book. Winston, the main character, and his love interest. There's like a whole component to their kind of private rebellion against the government through kind of sexuality and behind the scenes, and that kind of is something that by the end of the book, very tragically, is kind of taken from them, and it's one of the things that makes that book so compelling. And I that was in my middle school library. I read that in middle school. It might have been like 8th grade or something. Teachers always have like those in your English class. They do like, oh, we're going to do like 30 or 20 minutes of like free reading or whatever. So we would just go to the school library and grab a book. It's crazy. They've read 1984 as much as they've read the Bible. Exactly, Calvatron. Perfect. 100%. I agree.
Well, I mean, they gatekeep things that they don't actually read. You're talking about the Constitution, Bill of Rights, the Bible, 1984, and comic books, for instance. I get so many people in my comment section like trying to tell me about comic books. It's like, clearly you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, yet you are trying to gatekeep the shit.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating. But I pointed that out. I was like, you guys always talk about the importance of this book. If schools, let's say some like liberal superintendent was banning 1984, you'd be like, oh my God, liberal censorship. This is how it starts. You know, next minute we're living in somehow the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany at the same time. But no, instead it's this kind of limp-wristed appeal. And if you think about it, like by their logic, you would be banning stuff like that, you know. But
Yeah.
I would have no problem putting that book in more or less any school library, because I think that when you put books around kids, one of the things that you kind of teach them when you're teaching them to read is how to approach different books. And, you know, they'll have sections in school libraries marked out and say like, you know, hey, this is more advanced. Maybe you're not ready for this just yet, but if you practice really, really hard, you know, and if I don't know, like maybe this is just me being crazy. I'm not a parent. I have to stress, I'm 29 years old, but any child who can read at that level, are they really not ready to like just hear about the ideas? I don't know. It's, if you can read at that level.
Generally kids are kids will recognize whenever they've come across something that is too much for them. You know what I mean? Like, and for the most part, that's part of the problem is that like, and we talked about this on the Fapcast before, that like parents don't trust the kids to have, you know, to be like not just mindless little doofuses, you know, and in some cases they think they're just like psychos in waiting to, you know, if they read the, you know, like back in the 50s, Frederick Wortham thought by reading a comic book that some kid was just going to start stabbing people or whatever the fuck. And it's like, that's so fucking insulting to, you know, children in general. I mean, yeah, shit happens, but like, that's not, you know, there's a lot of kids reading comic books and very few stabbings, from what I understand. Yeah. So do we want to do Dumpergate now or?
Oh boy.
Dumpergate.
The Dumpergate.
Show me the butt. Show me the butt.
Oh, the butt.
We gotta have our butt.
We can. I got some interesting stuff on that.
Awesome. Are you guys talking about that new woke show?
Yeah, that new show.
I did this rotation on that dumper. It's gonna take me a while to go through it all. But it's pretty hardcore. It goes into detail about. I mean, all I can tell you is that shot got me through a lot of teenage years. Okay, it did.
Well, you say that shot, and that's kind of a curious thing because, like, it's bizarre. Like, I'm honestly kind of like, maybe there's no hope for humanity. Sorry, it's a weird way to go from this, but like, the fact that there's so many videos and so many people that are just like, they stole her ass, you know, where's her cakes and shit like that. Like, and then you just think about it for like a second. It's like, wait a second, this show was on for 5 seasons. And it's the one image that we're constantly seeing, right? So like, I've got a couple of other versions we could check out. You can find them. For instance, friend of the channel, Mark Brooks. You know, he decided, I guess, independently of this, not too long ago.
Yeah,
to do his own version.
Long ago when he posted on Twitter.
Okay, so here's the original. Right there. That's the shot from the show.
So it's not even like her like being sexy or anything. It's her facing down Apocalypse at disadvantage
I mean, even still, if you don't know what's going on, it still looks like it could be like a potential sex scene's about to happen. But you know, just because why is she laying like that, really?
Well, you could say Apocalypse is playing direction shit. So
yeah, he's like true. Yeah. What else could you say, Bob? Yeah. Actually, I have the scene. Let's watch the scene after I show you this this other version real quick. Okay.
Oh, amazing.
So, yeah, there's Mark Brooks.
Yeah, Mark Brooks is amazing.
Killing it, you know, and he even though the dumper is still there, it's still juicy.
I like the background on that.
It's like it doesn't look as sexualized because there's more detail, so it does kind of look like she's kind of in a vulnerable spot, to be sure. But yeah, let's see the context in the show.
I wonder what rock that snake's a hiding under. Come on, big boy. Where's your hospitality?
You had your chance to be the first of my creatures, the first to serve my will.
Dang, and I missed it.
Weak and foolish mutant, you are corrupted by those.
Now, I wanted to point out how, like, apparently Apocalypse in this show had, I didn't notice it then, but apparently one of his powers is that when he blasts you, he will make your jacket go away. So.
Yes, that is true.
If you want peace, you cannot oppose me. You're corrupt, like all the others. You must be exterminated.
Okay.
Professor was right. You are crazy.
Yeah, so what did that beam actually do?
It made her jacket go away.
He blasted away her jacket, obviously.
Yeah. It's there, and then
I wish I had that power.
He blasts her, and then it's gone.
Right.
My man's got the reverse Piccolo clothes beam.
So yeah, there you go. That's it. Okay. So why is it this one shot that's being, used?
Yeah, surely they could find a shot of her butt, like just like not being attacked by a super.
I did some looking. I did some digging, and I've got right here just kind of like the best shots from the show, the entirety of the show, or a few of them. I didn't do the whole show. If you want to look, you can go look. There's clips on YouTube. You can try to find me a single other fucking shot in the X-Men the Animated Series with her butt looking like this. Because guess what it looks like every other time.
I never thought I'd see this place again. Looks like the doc's doing a little.
It's just like what it looks like in the new image. What?
They took her butt.
Yeah, they went back in time and took her ass now.
Yes.
It's
Her
crazy.
butt used to be juicy in every single shot, and now it's gone. Oh no.
Remodeling. Let's all go for a little moonlight.
Although I will say that I did not remember, but doing this editing here, I don't know her name. I need to look it up, but I don't know if she's doing Rogue now in the new version too. But man, this voice actor's killing it, just killing it. She's great. She's very charming. Okay.
Don't get a moonbird. Come
And,
on.
flat butt. Flat butt.
Freak.
You're destroying my child.
Whatever you say, sugar.
Lenore's on. Flat butt. Look at that flat butt. I mean, look, I normally wouldn't like. Why are we objectifying a fucking cartoon in the first place? Is really the question. Like,
yeah, it's weird that like to prove how silly these arguments are, that we have to sit here and be like, look, a flat butt on like a fucking cartoon character and just like zoom in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I recognize
there's a
how
reason
absurd
for
it was when I was doing it, but yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a reason for it.
But I mean, look, this X-Men 97 thing from top to bottom
This is
shows
like if I blew out my candles and then you took my cake back to the store.
Yeah, this X-Men 97 stuff from top to bottom shows like the entirety of the grift, right? Like you've got you've got the missing cakes, right? Which is not a thing that matters and shouldn't matter because it's not like she was known for her ass in the show. There's that one shot that's become a meme in the last decade or something, really. Because of the fact that it really does seem like the animator was just like having some fun that day,
Yeah.
And good for him, but or her. But yeah, it's not, and like, yeah, and then on the other side, Morph is non-binary, right? Which they act, the implication behind that is they're introducing this stuff to kids. Disney is trying to introduce this stuff to kids, but also this girl character's ass is not fucking juicy enough, right? Which one is it? Which one is it?
Yeah, I mean, is having a big butt the opposite of being woke?
Yes.
Listen,
These are the questions.
We need to keep children away from sexualized things like being non-binary. But it's fine if children are around juicy butts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not sexual.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like that Jeremy Griggs, covered. He said when he was talking about, oh, if Elon Musk bought Disney, maybe they'd make this, and it was like an AI image of Rey from Star Wars, but she's like fucking super hot, like in terms of what a dipshit
She has
thinks
a big
hot is.
cleavage and stuff.
Big cleavage and like basically, just vaginas hanging out and stuff. Really, but yeah, and that's like, dude, y'all are constantly talking about how it's just such a grift, man. If you're still fucking following that content and you take it seriously, I don't know, stop. Please, you don't have to watch us. I'm not telling you to be woke or watch our content or anything. Just stop watching that shit. Please.
Exactly.
Well, I think you can also kind of clearly see why people get caught up in this content, because out of curiosity, what I decided to do was I pulled up an incognito tab, went to YouTube, and all I did was type in X-Men 97. Here's some interesting results. So obviously, we got a sponsored result because Google. We got the regular trailer. Third fucking result. X-Men 97 gets slammed by fans by Ryan Cannell. I don't know what a bit of everything is. We got Watch Mojo, fine. New Rock Stars, Complicast, it's fine. But then we got Fox News for some reason.
Wait, who has insert leaks angry statement? Who was that? That's pretty great.
Insert leaks angry statement.
I mean, say angry statement. I meant. Scroll up a bit. Up. That one. Yeah. Who's that? Oh, Comic Book Cast too. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, he's trolling a bit.
Yeah, for sure.
They're done wrong, Comic Book Cast guys. But
I think isn't he your sole Patreon supporter, Turf? Like he's
your
one Patreon, which is pretty good. Basically. That's a good one to have.
But yeah, this one looks pretty bad. We got Yellowfash. We got Tucker Carlson. And then the Easter egg stuff is fine, but mixed in that is all this other crap. We got more Yellowfash, a Demion, Mike Zero. This is all just incognito stuff, and like probably like a third to a half of this is just anti-woke garbage.
And for anybody that's not aware of why he would do incognito, why that's relevant. If you're not aware of like how the YouTube algorithm operates at all, for one thing, you should look into it. Maybe we didn't need to do a segment sometime where we kind of break it down again, but like essentially, by not doing it on his own channel, he knows that he's not going to see, the stuff that he tends to see, because that's what YouTube does, is it funnels you into content that you watch, and it like just shrinks your options as time goes on, to where you're less and less and less likely to see something that might actually, be opposite to the stuff that you watched once or twice or whatever. And that's how these guys end up thinking that their reality is that they're fucking living in on YouTube is just reality. It's a problem, to say the least.
Yeah. All I'm doing with the incognito tab is essentially clearing out my my organized chaos page is filled with chuds anymore. But clear it out. Just see what just a new person on YouTube would see if they search for X-Men 97.
And this is exactly the reason why
this crap.
It's exactly the reason why, like when Shuds show up and they're like, "Oh, okay, you don't like what they say. Why don't you just do your own thing? And why do you have to?" Well, this is why. This is exactly why. Mm-hmm. If it was legitimately a meritocracy of content and like the quality, and the quality of facts and quality of opinion and analysis and stuff, if that was what drove things, then I'm sure we'd all be doing a lot better here on the stream that independently on our channels. But the fact is, what's that?
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm put in mind of an old Jon Stewart clip from when he went on Crossfire when Tucker Carlson was on that show.
Yeah.
What he said to them, he said, I believe it was something like, "You're hurting America." And you could very easily say, "Well, Jon Stewart, why don't you just go do a different, better show?" And he did, but it's the quality of discourse should be improved, I think.
Well, he was wrong though, because it's not like Tucker Carlson or any of those people actually did hurt America since then.
Yeah, it's not like people like that actually didn't.
Come on. I mean, literally those exact same people.
I was gonna say this week Jon Stewart was pretty savage to Tucker Carlson. We need more of it. He only covered him for like 10 minutes, but we need more.
Yeah. The two of them, I need the two of them to sit down and talk. I would watch.
Yeah,
it.
just kind of have a repeat, like a full circle moment of them coming back together.
Yeah.
And...
Well, he rinsed him the first time. He made him look very silly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to wonder because
like the last episode of Crossfire.
It was. They ended it after that. Like, holy shit, dude. And I wonder if that kind of like motivated Tucker's villain arc even more. I mean, he was already destined to be one, you know, but like he was already doing it basically then, but like he's definitely become more fucking unhinged villain since then.
I mean, he went from Fox News to X and somehow worse, and now he's simping for Vladimir Putin. And it gets even more hilarious when Vladimir Putin, even in a later interview, is kind of like, okay, I wasn't quite expecting him to simp that hard. That was kind of
he was like, dude was a fucking bitch. We don't respect that bitch.
Like the fuck.
It's like, man, Tucker Carlson, don't make me like kind of like lean towards Putin being the guy.
Yeah.
I kind of think Putin's the better guy in this situation. No, I can't make that. I'm not gonna actually make the call, but like I felt the pull.
Well, I mean, when you're that kind of air quotes like journalist, like an activist journalist, where you just kind of bend the truth around your favorite issues and your favorite figures, like you just end up in the Tucker Carlson or the Matt Taibbi situation where Elon just burned him over. I mean, basically like nothing, right? Like they had some sort of disagreement about Substack or something. And he messaged him. I don't know if you guys saw that going viral, but he said, "You're dead to me." Bro is unhinged. Like these sucking up to these billionaire and like oligarch scumbags. It's just never worth it in the long run. You're destroying your life.
Yeah, the fucking what was crazy about those leaks, or I guess they weren't leaks, but they were just, you know, kind of released because they were evidence in that trial. Like it's everything that you imagine it is. The conversations that Fox News employees are, the reporters are having behind the scenes, like whenever you're like watching the shit that they say and you're seeing how you just know that they know they're being dishonest, right? Like they have to understand they are, and like then you see the texts and stuff, and you're like, it's literally just exactly what I would have imagined. It's kind of disappointing because I maybe hoped that it would be something more revelatory, but no, these conversations are pretty much what I would have expected from these people. Jesus.
Yeah, Galvatron. Elon didn't want Matt linking Substack to X, and it is interesting because he's been doing that for a while now, where he's got a lot of hostility to external links because he just wants my man's a control freak. He wants everything on his property, everything on his app. You know,
and he doesn't
want to
just
everything app. It's a terrible idea.
Nobody wants that. Literally everybody's saying it's terrible, and he still thinks he's going to accomplish it. It's like, man.
Well, he's taken Twitter, which is, you know, and I want to stress, like, this is just the caveat of all social media sucks. Twitter before was probably my favorite of the social media apps, and now it's like by far the worst. Like, it's vile.
Well, I mean, I can't say it's the worst because I haven't been on Facebook in like 5 years now, so it was pretty. Facebook was pretty bad whenever I finally just said, "Fuck this."
Pretty bad. I think Twitter's worse now.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, at least you're more likely to be kind of surrounded by some people that you choose to be around on Facebook.
Yeah.
You guys want to see Tim Pool losing his mind?
Hell yeah!
Oh please!
I mean,
my favorite.
He did lose.
I love nothing more.
It's from a few weeks ago or whatever, but like, yeah, this was just something was going on with this dude. But yeah,
I'm losing my fucking mind. I feel like I'm moderating a zero hedge debate. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, dude. This is what I felt like at the zero hedge debate, by the way. Holy fucking shit!
Have to wait. That was probably echoing, wasn't it? It was. I know it was.
I did not hear it.
It wasn't so bad.
We don't hear it on our
audience.
The audience is going to hear it. But yeah, let me try again.
I'm losing my fucking mind. I feel like I'm moderating a zero hedge debate. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, dude. This is what I felt like at the zero hedge debate, by the way. Holy fucking shit. Let's just not talk over each other. I have had this debate 7,000 times. Hey, and I'm sorry. I'm losing my fucking mind.
As a fellow white person, it's always so funny to see him get angry because he gets so red.
Oh, well, yeah.
He's part Asian.
You can tell so easily when he's triggered. It's great. What's even the context here? What's he?
I mean, I do have the longer video. I mean, it was something that I had cut down for us to watch on a stream, and then we didn't really get to it. I don't think so. We could check it out.
Yeah, what did they? I feel like that Boondocks clip.
It was Laura
What did they
Loomer
do to make my
and
man that mad?
Oh god.
basically what it was is people criticize. What's funny is it's people criticizing Trump. It's Laura Loomer, or not Laura Loomer, like I don't know the guy's name, but he's basically like saying that Trump needs to account for the pushing the vaccine, because that's the one thing that this guy that's like a big Trump guy or whatever, he's like, but then toward the end there he was touting the vaccine and stuff, and it's of course that's just fucking evil. You can't do that. So he thinks Trump should have to account for that before he is elected again or whatever the fuck. And Tim Pool is just like, he's over it, man.
Did you see the other clip that got picked up from his show recently, where they're interviewing Don Jr.
and he got like diarrhea or something.
Yeah, he's got some like stomach thing from, I don't know, maybe it's his diet or he got ill or something.
Well,
he has to go like just to the bathroom immediately post haste. And his co-host, the psychotic looking,
he's gonna go to the fucking
he's
bathroom
like,
with him.
I'll come with you.
Yeah. Like literally, he's leaving the show for the first time ever. He's, as he says anyway, he can't trust a word what the guy says, but he's like, I've never had to do this, but I have to leave. He's like, I'm just feeling really bad or whatever. And, so he's going to go. And then the other guy who he's leaving to fucking host the show in his absence is like, also like, I'm going to go to the bathroom with you or some shit. Like, what kind of relationship do you guys have, man? What is this?
They got to hold hands.
It sounds supporting. And yeah, if that's, what they need, then awesome for them.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. The king shits in the hand wipes.
Listen,
exactly.
It's important when they go to the bathroom that they cross the streams.
Oh gosh.
Give me a second to find that, because yeah. But I actually have the clip from Sam Cedar's show. I have a clip from about the Don Jr. one. I have a clip from Tim Heidecker's after what is it, Office Hours show, something like that. Sorry, man. I have more Tim Pool clips than I realized. I've got the one where that rugged man guy threatened him. That was pretty cool.
I gotta be honest. If I was in a public bathroom and I turned and I saw Tim Pool's co-host just looking at me, it would be like that scene in Jurassic Park where the guy gets flanked by the Velociraptor.
Yeah.
I've got the clip where he talks about with Ethan Van Sciver, where he talks about the X-Men and he just like doesn't understand X-Men, but that seems to be going around. So
let's see that.
Well, I'm trying to find the ones that we were talking about first, real quick.
All right, let's see.
To make sure that we have them. What the hell? They've got to be here. I've also got the clip where he blames society for him not having a girlfriend. It literally is like, it's not me. It's got to be everyone else. It's not me.
Of course.
I've got the Hey It's Vadim video. That's an hour-long video about how he lied his way to YouTube fame. It's a pretty interesting video if you haven't seen that.
Oh yeah, did you ever see those old articles circulating about Tim Pool where people because he got his whole fame off Occupy Wall Street. A bunch of people back during Occupy were speculating that he was feeding info to the cops. And then afterwards they said that's why he did his right-wing pivot to begin with, is he was just this like insider. Crazy. I don't know how true that is. I don't know how much evidence there is for that. But that's wild. And the pivot afterwards kind of makes it feel like if it wasn't true, it would be if it happened now. That's just, I don't know. Walking off the show when you've got the president's son on, though, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Yeah. To be fair, I wouldn't want to be around Don Jr. either.
True. Yeah.
Especially if I'm shitting myself, that would be an awful experience.
Actually, that'd be the one
myself
time
because
I would be around him.
I might have actually fucking.
I actually need that to be able to see him. I'm so curious to like all of the clips you've just mentioned.
Well, hopefully not all of them, because apparently I don't have all of them. Like, I'm not sure what the fuck I did. Well, sorry to disappoint everybody, but that's what I do. That's what I'm best at. No. I do. You know what? I never uploaded. I said we. It's really me. Remember whenever there was that Allen, was it Allen, Texas shooting.
Oh yeah,
the Nazi guy. And then we went and found where like you know, and lots of people did that. Tim Pool was like some of the videos that he'd been watching.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And Tim Pool was in like crisis mode, like damage control. Like, oh no, it was. I don't remember what he said, but it was some really stupid, you know, excuses or whatever for why it actually was fine or whatever. Well, there's this one. Okay, look, this is a good one.
This is not a conservative show.
That was after Lance from the Surfs went and, you know, batted him around a little bit.
Yeah, shout out.
But I mean, it's not a conservative show, so
it's not a yeah, right. Of course, it's not.
No, I do find it strange how Tim Pool's obviously conservative, but then he has his co-hosts who are somehow more conservative than him. I guess the goal to make him look reasonable, like he's like some sort of centrist or something. It's like, no,
like
this is just insanity.
The first time somebody said that to me on the internet, where there was like, Tim Pool's not right wing or conservative, I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Like, I'd never even considered that anybody could think that was the case.
Like, have you watched this stuff?
Yeah, and yeah, people believe some shit.
Like one thing is like thinking that like that it's okay or agreeing with this stuff. You know, it's like fine, just accept that he is. You know?
Well,
it's like,
also,
like
Tim
we can
Pool
disagree on the
even
fact
says
that
he
like
is
it's
sometimes.
yeah, like we can disagree on the fact that like I don't think it's a good thing, but like he is.
I've seen several like shows that Tim has done where he'll say like, but those of us on the right and stuff like that. And it's like, well, he's clearly self-identifying, you know. I mean, I'm transgender, I respect it, you know. If that's how he identifies, then I'll call him a right winger. That's, you know.
Yep.
Sorry,
I mean,
I'm being
maybe
a little bad faith. I'm being a little sneaky.
I mean, he's just not fully ready to commit yet. Like, he's still, you know, not ready to come completely out of the fucking fascist closet. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is what's interesting is that like that. Not interesting because I don't have the clip apparently, but that the clip I'm talking about that I had is literally him. Part of it is him talking about, you know, like I was saying, that he's like defending Trump basically. Like that's the reason he was so irate in that clip that I showed, is because people are fucking criticizing Donald Trump and he's fucking tired of it. It's driving him fucking insane. You know, the guy that literally will fucking criticize anybody that's slightly to the left, the center left, even center right, even if they for things that they didn't even do. When it comes to Trump, though, you're going too far. You know, like
that clip has. If a woman did that, she would be in cringe compilations for the next 20 years.
Yes,
that's the energy of that. I mean, it's literally just stop being mean to my dad. Stop being mean to my. He's nice and I like him. And he gives me things. Chill.
Well, listen, dude. I think we're all forgetting that men just don't get emotional. They don't act out.
Oh man, that's so.
We all need to be stoic, like Mel Gibson.
Exactly.
Lethal Weapon.
I mean, men just like they just biologically are stoic. You know?
Yes.
I'm so rational. We're so rational. Sorry, you guys are rational. I'm irrational. I forgot.
Right.
We are purely rational beings.
Yeah. Tim Pool is a being of rationality.
Honestly, Tim Pool is like my ideal for what a rational man looks like.
Yeah.
I wake up every day and I'm like, I need to be like Tim Pool, man.
Yeah. And you wear
I just want skating and sushi with the boys. You know, what more is there to life?
Listen, honestly, how could Emma just like say no to fucking poker night and going to see the fucking skate rink?
Well, because she's a groomer. That's why she had this.
This is the conspiracy theorist in me, but I want like I want to see two parallel timelines of like every time that Tim has complained about either Emma or about not being able to get a girl on his show. And every time that Emma has talked about Tim versus every time that like she's posted on social media about, like, I think she got engaged a while back, engaged or married, whichever. I don't know, too much about her private life, but I saw the ring and I saw her posting about it. It would just be interesting to see how much those posts coincide with Tim's meltdowns.
Yeah,
we all want to marry Emma Vigeland, dude. It's okay to just say it.
Yeah,
it's okay.
I really want to see the clip of him talking about like why I got a girlfriend.
Oh, okay. I can't show that one, but I did. I just went to YouTube and found the video of the thing that I had clipped originally, so we can check that out real quick.
Sounds good.
I don't think Sam Cedar's too hot on the copyright claim stuff, so I think we'll be all right.
Nah, he should be fine. Yeah.
Otherwise, we switch to the right.
What did I do? You look very unhappy with me right now.
I just think that what you did to Tim Pool was mean. And look at how you've hurt his feelings.
She was offered a tour, sushi, and poker with the boys.
Like, it's one thing, but look at how sad he's become now. How none of it is worth it for him anymore. He could be making millions. Instead, he's making millions and having to work a little.
Do harder work.
This is a clip of Tim Pool, I guess, from just the other day.
Do you know who this guy is?
Which one?
This guy we're looking at.
This is Phil LeBon. He's a Tim Cast guy. He's actually, funnily enough, a singer of an emo band called All That.
Oh, right. He's All That Remains Funky. I got you.
I don't even know what that means, but is he responsible for the video where Tim Pool is like running with his sunglasses on through?
He might actually be related
saving
to
the world.
I bet he corresponds with Phil for his music. He's got Phil's a real musician.
Okay, so Tim's upset. I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, how to best set this up?
Tim Pool is upset because something happened on the show yesterday, and he's calling out the guy who made it happen.
And he's reassessing his career.
His diarrhea?
No, different.
That was something else.
No, this is sort of verbal diarrhea.
Might do if they get in charge of the government while they're
from my lefty friends. You know, is
Okay, so this actually isn't the thing that I thought it was, apparently. So that's interesting. That I have watched this.
I really want to see it though. I've never been more invested.
I think it's only fair that I don't take the heat for what you said, Jesse, and I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'm getting people attacking my character now for having had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions to killing people. So I'm not trying to be a dick right now, but like I've got 500 messages of like.
As someone who can be a dick sometimes, I can just tell you straight up. 9 times out of 10, when somebody says I'm not trying to be a dick right now, they are trying to be a dick right now.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck are you doing? Why are you taking the show down? Are you fucking with us? You're trying to make money.
So I thought YouTube took the show down.
No, I had to take the show down.
Okay.
I had to take the show down because you made 2 allusions within like the span of a couple minutes to murdering people.
Okay.
After I explicitly stated in the pre-show, do not make allusions to violence. Then went on to explain we keep having people come here and saying they want people killed or people should kill people or they can be killed or things like that. 18 minutes into the show, you're not having real conversations.
Pause it for 1 second. I want you to go back just about 10 seconds, 15 seconds. But I think if you find yourself saying, we keep having people come on the show, we're making allusions to killing people or having other people killed and killing and murdering and killing
places.
And fighting and killing. I feel if you say those words about your show, you may need a deeper dive into this. Apparently not. It's everybody else's fault, and this is some.
And he's not even mad about the killing people so far. He's mad he had to take the show down, and that he's stopped his fans.
I just wonder. I want to know if maybe these have anything to do with it. So like, here's tweets where he mentions Civil War, and here's videos where he mentions Civil War. I don't know. Maybe it's unrelated. Who knows? We can never tell.
Yeah. No, I'm sure it's that one guest that came in and said it twice that he wanted to murder someone. That's why
you keep on having people on with illusions of killing people, and they need to stop.
One guy is a fluke. I mean, who among us hasn't had a guest that talked about killing somebody right now and then? It just happens.
I find it interesting. It seems like part of the pre-show procedure is to go through and say, okay, you can't make allusions to killing people because I've never done that. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah,
I'm always doing this.
Because like we'd all be lying if we in general just said that like none of us ever have any bad thoughts or thoughts of like murder or whatever else that's horrible, because that's just human nature. People do that. We just have thoughts, even if those thoughts disturb us to
I mean,
hell,
yeah.
we still have
Look,
them. It's
everybody knows what I said that one time, okay, about
Yeah.
raping that family, and look, not proud of it.
Yeah, and I was about to say, it's like it's the fewest of us who say that stuff.
Oh shit.
So yeah, Dane.
Anyway, yeah.
Anyway,
Crawling Chaos. No, he would win because he wouldn't be like, he's got a fucking bunker with a fucking skate park in it and stuff. Like, he wouldn't leave his house. He would just be like, as soon as it popped off, he'd be like, okay, my work here is done. And he'd fucking, like, you know, he's probably got like food doomsday slot buckets and shit like that, you know.
I
Whatever.
bet the bathroom in that place
Again.
stinks atrocious.
Oh god.
Again, in case you're wondering why he can't get a girlfriend.
It's because of everybody else. It's not him.
Oh.
Yeah, my man lives in a compound. Where is he gonna meet a woman? Like the RNC? I don't
He
understand.
tried. He fucking tried. He gave a good shot at Emma, and she like rejected him. So like, what's a guy to do? You know?
Yeah, maybe
What's
if you're
the
trying to hook up with a girl, don't call her a pedophile.
Right.
But
Wait,
she's
what?
a leftist. What else do you call leftist?
What?
Try to
Man,
get some sushi with the boys. If she can't hang with the boys and get some sushi with the boys, she ain't my kind of broad, you know.
I thought, but I thought that was what we were supposed to say.
Yeah,
I thought that was how you got people to like you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Damn.
That's,
Well, I guess that's what's been going wrong.
it's like maybe
Alright.
maybe he should accept the fact that there's like countless hours of him saying like objectively untrue and harmful, malicious shit on the internet. That maybe
Yeah.
that's gonna possibly impede the him ever having any kind of decent person in his life. Who knows?
Well, I've seen some Tim Pool stuff and I've seen some Emma Vigeland stuff. I suspect they might have a somewhat different political philosophy in life.
You think?
I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, they both. Nope. I can't think of anything. Yeah.
I mean,
they stop my fans. I gotta do this, or we're gonna get demonetized.
And the funny thing is, it's not just YouTube. But go ahead, Bradley.
Good.
To murdering people.
Okay.
After I explicitly stated in the pre-show, do not make allusions to violence. Then when I
He has to say that in his pre-show. Like,
isn't that guy? Doesn't he like work for or with him as well?
Yeah.
Like, he's not like a random guest.
No,
That's
he works.
crazy. This is like an off-the-show conversation that needs to be
Right.
happening.
Yeah.
It's a backstage
well,
conversation.
that's kind of part of the context of like why it seems like he's not been doing so well lately, right? Like, there's been several instances in a short amount of time. We can look at a couple of the other ones, I think. But
Well,
yeah,
listen, before we get too far into this turf, you need to
Yes.
not make allusions to killing people. You're a wild
Mhm.
man. You need to calm it down, okay? It gets ridiculous sometimes.
sometimes you go too far, man.
Guys, what the fuck, man?
Okay, so I found
I'll
I
try.
found the right one. This is Tim Pool is losing it, all caps, on the Majority Report with Sam Cedar. By the way, somebody said a minute ago, isn't this the dude that confronted Steven Crowder? I mean, yes, but like Sam Cedar's so much more than just the dude that confronted Steven Crowder. Like, the reason that he confronted him is also important. It's because he's a pretty fucking awesome you know, I was gonna say debater, but that's really not it. It's just he knows how to. He's rhetorician. What's the word there?
He's rhetorically very.
There you go.
Very good.
He's very
Very
astute.
good.
He's very smart. He knows his stuff.
Sam is
I'd
a-
love to see
a-
an actual debate between those.
He's a
two
very
because-
effective speaker and commentator.
Yeah,
Sam's got
so
actual
Steven
like
Crowder
media
is
training. He's
useless.
been on MSNBC and I think maybe CNN as well.
I don't
can't
think that,
recall exactly what his credits are.
I don't think an actual debate could happen between him and Crowder, right? Like, it just is, they're operating on two completely different.
Not
levels.
unless
Doesn't he run
Sam
from him?
Cedar just finds out what college he's hanging out with doing those stealth debate shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the like
Yeah.
prove me wrong, and then it's
Yeah.
fucking Sam Cedar
Sam
walks
Cedar
in.
just walks up.
That'd be amazing.
Oh my god!
He ran
Imagine.
from
Imagine you're just like students are walking by and there's a student wearing like glasses and a backpack and he's got his hat kind of covering his face and you stop and you go like, debate me, bro, and he turns and he lifts up the brim of his cap and it's Sam Cedar.
Oh my god. That'd be amazing.
Oh my god.
Man, I love that Sam Cedar is just like on top of covering Tim Pool's bullshit. Like somebody needs to be, and I'm glad that it's
they do.
There's a lot, and lots of people take Tim Pool seriously, which is frustrating. I have lost friends over Tim Pool.
Well, I'm sure Tim Pool has lost friends over Tim Pool too, so I don't know, take some comfort there.
What it
Will you
seems like.
remind me to get Tim Heidecker on the show because he's been doing great reporting on Tim Pool as of late. And you know, I gotta, you know, I'm thinking maybe it's time we bury the hatchet,
right?
You know, with Heidecker, but I guess we missed this. The Iowa caucuses were what now, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and Tim Pool went to cover the Iowa caucuses live. Now, we bring this up now because it seems like Tim is having some type of crisis, like existential crisis. The other day we covered him, you know, really sounding sad about how hard his job is and how he could be a millionaire without even having to do his second show. And when he has the second show, he's letting people in the compound who are pouring bacon grease down down into his sink, and anybody with a septic system knows you don't want to do that. I mean, really, you don't want to do it in general. I mean, because it coagulates. It's just a problem. And apparently, he did a live Timcast from the Iowa during the Republican caucuses with Laura Loomer, which I did not realize. And she is she's a
conservative thought leader.
What was the tweet? Should we show the tweet first?
We showed it, yeah, where it's like him going through the stuff.
Oh yeah, let's just put this tweet up. Yeah, really quick. And this is this the tweet that set him off?
Oh no, this was just Will Summer who was pointing out that Tim has kind of been on a streak.
Okay, yeah, all right, yeah, and here is okay. So here is Tim Pool live in Iowa a couple weeks ago.
Before that, I did just go ahead and download this because it's a very quick clip from Tim Heidecker.
The big news, the breaking news, big story last night. Podcaster, live streamer Tim Pool suffered a case of, we believe, diarrhea or vomiting or a little bit of both live last night on his Timcast broadcast while he was talking to Donald Trump Jr. Let's take a look and see what happened, and we can discuss what we think might have happened here.
Since the last time. Before the question, I'm going to do something I've never done on the show before. I'm going to leave. I'm actually feeling really, really sick, but we've got some awesome friends. I don't know if Phil or Josie or somebody wants to jump in and take my seat.
Why don't you guys both come up for a minute?
I'm feeling real sick.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Wait, back this up. Look at Ian. Look at what
Ian's having a real...
Ian freaks like the choice Ian makes here. Ian is Tim's little toady here. Watch this.
Or Josie or somebody wants to jump in and take my seat.
Why don't you guys both come up for a minute?
I'm feeling real sick.
I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that.
And fucking Don Jr. is too stupid to handle any of it. He's just completely fucking like, huh? It's like his eyes are all glassy. Who knows if that's from cocaine or he actually feels rejected right now? Like his fucking father's, you know, constant daily rejection is being triggered. I'm not sure. Jesus Christ.
I feel like it would also be confusing, especially if like, I don't know if like Tim has made him aware that he's feeling a little bit bad before the stream, or if it's just like if we were on stream and one of us was just suddenly like, oh, feeling like shit, I gotta go, and then just
you did that once, man. You did that once.
I mean, I know I do that like every single stream. That's how I leave. I'm like, oh, actually, I gotta go. So you know what? Fair play.
It's either that or like a 10-minute long awkward exit, right? Like you gotta.
Yeah, it's either the quickest thing ever, or I'm just wasting everyone's time. There's no in between.
Why is Tim? Why is
Wait, he wants to jump
Ian
on
going
the-
to the bathroom?
He doesn't want to be alone with DJ.
And Don Jr. looks scared too.
Yeah, and so Don actually is kind of. I
You think maybe it's like his tummy got really messed up because like Don Jr. is actually like a somebody he really admires. I don't know.
There's no way.
So
There's
sad.
this guy doesn't have enough love in his heart.
What has Don Jr. done?
Been a Trump?
He came out of Trump's semen.
Oh damn.
He's just a Don Jr. is, I think, more than any other Trump, a loser.
Yeah.
His father doesn't love him. Did you guys ever hear about that anecdote of when Don Jr. Charlie Kirk got Don Jr. I think it was Charlie Kirk introduced to Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's response was basically like, "All right, Junior, get your little friend out of here. Don't bring him around anymore." It's this guy. I mean, there's nothing there. He's so vapid. At least like Eric Trump is this kind of like gormless, like smiling like child in a man's body.
And Ivana can play the
similar.
part of the kind of the I don't know concerned liberal kind of affectations that she does. What
that
it's all
Trump totally wants to bang.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Julia Rawl, they said in the chat, Don Jr. is the slimy afterbirth. He's literally Don Jr. and Donald Trump's relationship reminds me of Daniel and Eli from There Will Be Blood. You slithered out on your mother's filth. Rage, Eli. Boy.
Like
that
that's
vibe.
true, Mark. It is like Eric is like the sniveling henchman. Don Jr. In that regard, it seems like Don Jr. is the reason that Trump probably hates him is because he resents the fact that John Jr. actually thinks that he can like live up to his father's status or something. You know what I mean? Like he's still under some kind of delusion that he's like gonna make it. That he's gonna make him proud or something. He's got that, but he constantly is just falling short of even I mean, and whenever you can't even fucking live up to Donald Trump standards.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's yikes. They are a crappy merchandise product. It's just a name, right? Name on some buildings. That's all it ever really was.
Did you guys see the cool new shoes?
Oh
yeah.
my God, so
that meme you shared, Bob. Let me find that meme.
Yeah, I was about right. See, I forgot I did share one in the server.
Yeah.
Wearing those shoes must be like having your feet stuck in a saw trap.
Oh my God.
Oh. Wait, where'd you share it? In the politics thing? I guess so.
Probably.
You have 5 minutes to cut off your own feet, or everyone will know those kicks are trash. Like, I don't know.
I got it, Bob.
Awesome.
Goofy.
That looks accurate.
Yeah.
You too can get your own clown shoes for $399.
They're really just a pair of shitty clown shoes when you really look at them. Yeah. God damn. Like, I mean, and that's the kind of rich that they are too, is like where they literally fucking just like gold everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the classless rich, like they don't actually have any fucking taste. And there's just Ugh. Anyway.
That's like, you hear about really like couple $100 pairs of shoes, and usually like they're nice, or at least like look okay. Like these are just disgusting on every level. It's mind blowing.
He's fairly pleasant here, but take a look.
I tried. I got the drink because I'm like, I just got punched in the gut.
Phil, you want to sit in for like 10 minutes or so? I'm going to go to the bathroom and listen to you guys, and then I'll come back.
What? Listen to what? You having diarrhea?
You're the one supposed to stay.
Yeah.
Ian, how about not making this about you?
Go.
Hey?
No, absolutely.
Yeah, like, what is he going to hold his hand while Tim goes?
Just leave. Oh, yeah, maybe that's part of the deal. It's like, if I go to the bathroom, you come with me.
I'm too scared to have diarrhea alone. All right, so then keep
But,
going.
but in the issue of full transparency, I'm like,
I hope I didn't piss you off so bad. Did I just?
That's so fucking sad right there, man. Like that's literally his insecurity, fucking like.
Oh, I hope I
kicking
didn't
in.
piss you off that bad.
This is my fault. Did I do something wrong?
Oh, please.
Oh my god.
Gust you to the point where
I'm enjoying it. I'm actually I resisted for the past 15
Look at
20
him
minutes.
clenching his asshole.
I'm like, I can't.
Try to lay down, try to feel better.
Yeah, I'm
Definitely
gonna
go
try to
take care of yourself. We still have super chats that we're going to be getting into in about 13 minutes. But
I mean, apart from all of the added sound effects and stuff and edits, like it's just fucking surreal. The moment is surreal, right? Like when you really think about it. Jesus
I think
Christ.
the Ian bit is the funniest part, where he looks more panicked than Tim does. He's like, "Oh my god, here's my chance. I get to go listen to Tim's shit." Brother, what are you doing?
I've been waiting for this. Get the record function on the phone ready.
Oh my god, this is everything I've ever wanted. Oh man, I was really looking forward to talking to Don Jr., but like it doesn't matter now, you know.
Tim, shit, I need this.
Priorities. Oh my god. Okay, and then so I'm gonna go ahead and get with the Sam Cedar video. They kind of like you know, I don't know, kick the tires a little bit before it gets to the good part. So let's see.
Peter Daszak, Echo Health Alliance, all they have to do is restart and do whatever they did again, because there isn't a conversation about, hey, I learned my lesson. Hey, there's some mistake. I should have done something better. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When still he's telling people to get boosted just a few freaking months ago.
The policies, and it's funny when I see like these centrist type journalists who don't like Donald Trump actually arguing with people over this, and they're putting things like, man, I really don't like Trump, but Operation Warp Speed was therapeutics and vaccines by choice. It was never forcing people to get medical treatments, and when that happened, he came out and said they shouldn't be doing this. And now years later, I'm sorry, it's 4 years later. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
We should never forget how bad those things were, but it's weird to me that we look at these blue state governors who literally.
He's like, we should never forget how bad they were whenever it was like politically convenient for us to call them bad.
No.
But like right now, it's not politically convenient for us to call them bad, so we need to stop calling them bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
so I just want to stress there was never any sort of vaccine mandate ever.
No.
Even if the Biden thing had passed and not been overturned by the Supreme Court, that's still not a vaccine mandate.
Well, it's funny because the mandates and the lockdowns that these people talk about, the biggest lockdown in the US was like, I think for like a month in like April 2020 or something like that. It was like that spring, just sort of shortly after like COVID really hit. And that happened under Trump. And also, like, I think even back then when the vaccine rollouts were really happening under Trump for kind of the first time for the first wave of COVID, I think that the situations where it was mandated was still mandated under Trump, like for like military service members and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Jobs that already have mandates for.
Otherwise, the only mandates, if you want to call them that, which I really don't think you should, or it doesn't really apply in the same way, but is like local, regional, or like city, you know, municipal, and like and that's the thing, is like it's kind of the same way that they conflate getting your account nuked on social media because you fucking use slurs or whatever, and somehow that's like a freedom of speech violation to them. This is the same kind of stupid ass, like, I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I'm going to be offended anyway logic of like, oh, it's a mandate, so what are you wanting? You wanting the federal government to do something about your local municipality not wanting people to enter a building if you don't not wearing a mask or some shit? Like, what are you wanting to happen here?
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect because it totally showcases the pathology of guys like Tim Pool, where the point, regardless of what reality is, if they need there to have been a lockdown, they will imagine one. If they need there to have never been a lockdown, they will imagine one. If they need Trump to have mandated something, they'll imagine it, or vice versa. Reality can be whatever I want. It's a silly situation. But like that's, again, kind of reinforces why these narratives are so comprehensive and why there's always such a full court press from the right wing media, where every time there's, a shooting to condemn or a shooting to justify or a whatever it is, they all have to jump on it and do it together, because the point is that they're enforcing their reality, their preferential reality.
Yep. I mean, but that's it's still not a mandate though, dumb. Like even if it's like a thing where you needed to show your card that you've been vaccinated in order to do the thing or whatever, that's not a mandate. That's just you know, like there's also in most cases there's options to go to another place, or to just, if you need to order something from the internet, order something from the internet or whatever. Or you can't fly. Damn, maybe you just need to go ahead and fucking bite the bullet and get that vaccine.
Well,
if you really need to apply that badly.
Calling that a mandate when it was happening, and that's you know, this is the point of having a movement where if you get banned on Facebook or blocked on Facebook, you can accuse people of violating your Second Amendment right, because you just don't make those distinctions. For people like this, rights are what allows them to do things to other people. It's narcissistic. It's self-centered.
If they manage to use the Second Amendment as a for getting banned off of Facebook, then
that's
wow,
a little scary.
That's pretty.
Or First Amendment, yeah.
I figured you meant that, but
that's a tragic misspeak on my part. Although that would be very funny.
I imagine that happened at least one time somehow. Somebody tried it. You know what I mean?
I have the right to bear my blue check. Actually, that's I think Justice Scalia's ruling.
Like, yeah, they don't understand the difference between rights and privileges, right? Like, it's like you don't have a right to go to a fucking concert or whatever, like be on a plane or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah,
you don't have a right to that. That is a privilege that that the whatever. And at the same time, these are also typically, in many cases, it was going to be a corporation, a company, a function of a product of capitalism, which they love. They love the shit out of it, and it's making a choice on that they feel is best for their company. And nope, that's not good either. Just insanity, man. Like straight.
Well,
insanity.
I mean, I think a lot of companies, logically so, don't want to be known as the place where we allow COVID to hang out. So they did. Lots of companies did rules to limit that stuff. That is not a government mandate.
Archmage, man, that's a really good joke. But like, I feel like you hadn't been around giving us the zingers lately. What the fuck? What do we pay you for?
Yeah. You guys are paying them, right?
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
I thought you were supposed to do that, Bob.
Well, I thought you were supposed to.
Well, I thought Dane was supposed to.
I mean, I've just been paying him and invalidating his jokes.
Archmage, the check is in the mail. Trust me.
I do want to say that the point about like rights and privileges, I think the whole point of having a declaration of rights is kind of because ultimately the center of all rights in these institutions is the state, our nation, that it has the supreme right over others. And when we talk about our Bill of Rights, our constitutional rights, what we're talking about essentially is those things which we can at least somewhat reliably in some circumstances consider to be safe from that, that universal highest authority. That's why when people are justifying the existence of the government, when the founding fathers were justifying founding this nation, they looked to it getting its authority first from the people mythologically to kind of justify its democratic structure, and then also from God, because if there can be nothing above the nation for the nationalist except God. So I mean, like this notion of where our rights come from, really they're considerations built into things that the state in some circumstances will regulate itself away from doing to you. There, the idea that they're guarantees of entitlements is ironically like the kind of also the right-wing caricature of socialism, that everybody will be given medicine, that you'll all be given your food in the bread line, and so on and so forth. That's how they treat free speech and things like that. And I think it's just kind of weird and ironic and revolting.
Truly. I mean, without double standards, they'd have no standards at all. So that's
well, I mean, that's a great point, because the point of supremacism is a double standard, because you're holding yourself above others. That's why white supremacists have such a key feature in reactionary movements, among other reasons, because like they look down on other people as being inherently inferior, and that's essentially what you're doing when you're holding a kind of chauvinistic double standard.
Yeah, so this is where Tim is. He's just getting worked up right at this point because I mean, I know we just started the clip here at this point, but like, you got Laura Loomer on the one side, and she, does not. I mean, I'll just say she looks great. Okay, look, I'm not trying to be sexist by commenting on her appearance, but she looks great. Okay, not really. She looks bad. And then the other guy who, what?
No, I was just gonna say, Laura Loomer looks great.
No, I mean, what I mean by that is that, like, I remember what she looked like a few years ago, and something is different now. I don't know if it's like just a whole bunch of surgeries have happened or something, or what it is, but yeah, it's pretty notable.
Murdered people in New York, and it's like, but Donald Trump, it funded scientific
can
research.
I just say something too? Can I just say it goes back to the concept of revolution. Look, I understand people have to provide for their families, and so I'm not trying to sound like a cold-hearted bitch with what I'm about.
I'm not trying to sound like a cold-hearted bitch, and guess what she sounds like? Yes.
To say, but everybody has choices, everybody has free will, and I'm really sick and tired of listening to people say things like, oh, I would have lost my job, or oh, well, I would have been fired. You either stand for something or you fall for everything. And if more people in this country would have stood up and taken to the streets and fought back against these.
Can we talk about how conservatives love their fucking their phrases, their catchphrases, their taglines and stuff that, like, theoretically, if applied the right way, could actually be pretty cool, or in a certain context, but like they use them just willy-nilly, and it becomes nonsense.
Or Alan Moore.
Well, because if it rhymes, it's automatically true, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because this is just like essentially, the conservative sphere for decades and decades has long been fundamentally kind of like how influencers operate now, where they're just sort of they get picked up due to their ability to appeal to people and to kind of slot into corporate structures.
Yeah.
So this is essentially, at every time you hear like a streamer or a YouTuber go on a rant about how you should get a real job, and then they play Minecraft for a living.
Right.
That's what she's doing here. Is like, oh, all you little people with your little lives. And I can't. What if I lose my job and I can't feed my kids? Yeah, okay, sure, buddy. But
how much does freedom matter to you?
I sit here in my studio and screech at you about the importance of your abstract rights.
I don't know if I've skipped over it or not, but Sam Cedar does remind the fact that like several years ago she chained herself to a Starbucks. I don't remember what it was about, but like, yeah, she fucking chained herself to the door of a Starbucks or some shit. And it's just like,
I believe she changed her. She actually, did she do this multiple times? Maybe, but I remember her chaining herself to the door of the Twitter headquarters.
That's what it was. Banned. Twitter. Yes.
Yeah.
It was Twitter.
Which, oh my God, what a pathetic display. She was like chained. By the way, the way that it looked as per my memory, there's multiple doors. So she was chained to one of the doors and people could just enter like next to where she was. I think there was like a revolving door there. What are you gonna do? Just like live in there? Dog,
it's just like in the Big Lebowski, whenever he goes through all the trouble to build that that barrier on his door, and it's like he puts the chair there and everything, but the door opens the other way. Anyway.
She locked herself to the doors of Twitter back in the day. Literally chained herself to the doors of Twitter.
Jesus Christ.
Trump never forced the vaccine on anyone. President Trump never forced extended lockdowns. President Trump never forced people to wear masks.
But Trump
people allowed their children to be forcefully vaccinated.
Who was against lockdowns. Trump attacked Sweden, who decided not to lock down. That's a fact. I still want an acknowledgement of it, and because we don't have an acknowledgement of it, because Trump still believes that the vaccine saved hundreds of millions of lives.
Let me take it.
The scenario could again unfold.
Okay, I'll tell you why I'm done with this. Because the anti-Trump people say Trump did the exact same thing Ron DeSantis did, but Trump was wrong when he did it. And then the DeSantis people are like, DeSantis did the same thing that Trump did, but DeSantis was right when I'm like, dude, in the beginning of COVID and the lockdowns, Donald Trump said 15 days to slow the spread. And we were all, not everybody, but a lot of people were like, okay, well, we don't know what's going on. And now that we have hindsight, you have people being like, Ron was correct. No, Trump was correct. No, Ron. Dude, I don't think we need to adjudicate what happened 4 years ago. Now that we have hindsight and we can talk about it today.
But that is not fair.
And
Go after
now what's going to happen is
if you can't criticize Trump on this,
we don't have to talk about it.
Everyone's going to
crazy. Tim Pool has created his own hell, and it's fucking amazing.
Yes.
I mean, he's still. It's not nearly as much punishment as he probably deserves. But he's still making millions and millions. That's for sure. That sucks. But
listen, I'm about to do something that I've never ever done on this show before. I'm gonna leave.
Oh God.
Well, do you need to go to the bathroom?
I'll come with you. Yeah, I
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
all just go. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
We got this.
Yeah. We're gonna do a little bit of like a production here, right? Where it's like in steps.
Back this up. Look at Ian. Look at what? Ian's having a
what's
real...
Ian?
Okay, sorry. Here we go.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But yes, my tummy is aching.
All right, man. Well, have a good shit.
Thank you. I mean, I'll see you there.
Hey, actually, sincerely, we are very glad that you managed to make it today, man. And if you did want to do another one tomorrow, I'd be down for that if you want to. But whatever.
Yeah,
You get back to me. I get it.
Yeah, I'll get back to you after the shit.
After you hit the Little Mermaid's room. Gotcha.
Exactly. Anyways, have fun, everyone. See you guys
later.
Yeah. See ya.
That actually does remind me that I have an image about him. Yeah, what's up?
I want to respond to something in chat from Julia Rowell, who said, I think has Laura Loomer ever worked a regular 9-to-5 living paycheck to paycheck, no health insurance?
Oh, almost certainly not.
This is a fantastic. I'm so happy to be able to talk about this. So Laura Loomer started, like many of these people. You'd be surprised. I mean, off the top of my head, like Barry Weiss was kind of the same way. But these people, what they do is they go to college, and the second they get there, I mean, she was at her first university for like a year before she transferred, and she was already like trying to stir up controversy around being a conservative because they've got that persecution complex about, on college campuses they discriminated against us conservatives. And she leaves that, and then at her second university, she tried to like do a candid recording of some of the staff and the faculty to try to get media fame. So basically, from the time that she was a student, she was basically just trying to get like this kind of conservative media money from the get-go. So I don't know, if she's worked any jobs behind the scenes or anything. I don't know too much about that. But no, from the beginning, it was like the easy money grift,
So she early on, she spotted the where you could, I can see where I can make some money off of just saying the right dumb shit right here.
Yeah. Her big beat at first was like the anti-Islam kind of migrant stuff back when that was really big in white nationalist circles. That was like the big animator. They still believe it, but
Estás loco.
that was a huge a huge feature. Laura Loomer's a mercenary shit starter. Yeah, it's interesting because Loomer is so not special, right? Like these people are kind of all like that. They get their name attached to a big public media controversy, and then they try to get easy conservabucks.
Yes.
I mean, it's kind of been happening for, since before I was in school. But I mean, Barry Weiss ended up being the editor for a couple different major publications, including the New York Times. She was an editor for them. And her initial rise to stardom, and this was documented by the National Review, which is one of the publications that kind of, if you're a young conservative, getting your name in that increases your profile. She was like doing like campus conservatism. Another one, Caitlin Bennett, the gun girl, the ramen haired gun girl. You guys might remember her. Same deal.
She had her own bathroom issues, with incontinence.
It does frustrate me. Like, if I watch Caitlin Bennett, I think it's hilarious, and I think it's disturbing when people take it seriously. It blows my mind.
I don't know that she even still. She's probably still around, but she doesn't have any influence whatsoever anymore. Like she had a moment there, right? where
she joined one of those she was a part of one of those conservative groups. I don't think it was Turning Point USA. Maybe it was, but I think it was a different one.
Well, speaking of that, actually, so I don't know if we wanted to at all address the thing. So there was the other part of that, was kind of like a if we get to it type of story, which was the fact that Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker went on some show that I'd never even heard of until now.
I never heard of it before either, and now
some guy named Benny Johnson. Like, okay, it's Benny Johnson. That's I guess some guy doing a conservative thing, right? Well, I looked into him. I mean, it's not like I looked into him as in like I did like a background check and all this shit. You don't have to look too far to find this information.
No.
Wikipedia generally, but I mean, it's a good idea to find that information, corroborated somewhere else. But you can start with Wikipedia. And so they went on this show. I'll just give you a taste of it real quick because the beginning of it is holy shit. If you have not cringed today, well, you're in luck to get your fill. You get your
we've already done Tim Pool clicks. I think people have cringed today.
It's kind of nothing to like. This is something else. All right, just the intro to this 45-minute conversation that's uploaded to the Benny Johnson program channel, whatever.
Coming to Disney was a bad idea. Being in Celebration in the belly of the beast of Disney is a worse idea. Yes, I've been 10 years sober, but this will drive a man to drink.
Real quick, Gary does not have good acting chops. Just saying.
No, not at all. I mean, I guess maybe he does in a certain type of thing, right? Like when it comes to.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess when it comes to, maybe he just needs to be surrounded by his action figures.
That's probably what it is. But also, it's like do you think he really believes a lot of the like shit that he says, right? Or does he like? What is it?
Well,
right?
Listen, he either doesn't believe anything he says, or he somehow completely changed his mind on everything since about 2019. It's one or the other.
It's true. Well, look, it's just now getting good. So, let's see how the acting of Will Jordan is, because we know that he did want to be an actor. He's played some small.
He has a famous acting role.
Well, we're gonna see it all pay off right here.
Go away now. Tough town, boys. What you having?
Irish coffee. Hold the Irish.
Everything. I got the message.
Wow, that's really that couldn't make it into a Nostalgia Critic video. That's really
no. Nostalgia Critic would be like, "Wow, that's really bad. Let's rewrite that."
Yeah, let's shoot that one more time. When he pretends to wake up in a really camp and cheesy manner, he says, "Go away now." What is this dialogue, right?
Well, I mean that's the Critical Drinker's one of his several just hilarious every single time catchphrases, though.
Yeah.
So that's how he ends his videos. Is like, "Go away now." So
oh my god, they just had to work it in like that.
Yeah,
he couldn't just say, "God, please just say something normal."
And look, the substance of that video was actually was healthier, believe it or not.
I feel like I'm eating shit right now.
Yeah, it's like it was more fucking nutritional value in that fucking video than there is in this.
Before I forget, real quick, Molly, thank you for the super chat. Yes, Tim Pool podcast was a mess. I agree.
Now, if you want to get that cringe out of taste out of our mouths, I do have like a quick thing here that we can check out. This is a 1 minute or so, about a 1 minute. It seems to be like a teaser for a video that's going to be coming up later. For those of you who have seen the Barbie movie, and you know the song "I'm Just Ken." This is well, here you go.
Oh God.
They're not gonna sing.
No, don't. This is good. Sincerely.
I just suddenly have to shit right now.
No, you're prepared. All wrong. I'm telling you, this is actually a good thing. I promise. You're gonna like
it. I don't believe you.
All right.
Cause I'm just shit, an adult baby with a woman's tits. It is my destiny to piss and whine and line. My life's a travesty. Yeah, I'm just shit. My nose looks like an old man's dick. What will it take for me to understand that my right hand's my destiny?
So it's a video about heel versus babyface, is what it is.
I see.
From the puppet guys, the puppet guy that does he dips his toes in some homophobia now and then. But you know what? It seems
like I think that's all his content anymore.
True. I mean, there's at least like one like forced blowjob joke in every video now.
You know,
I see.
When we're dealing with heels versus babyface, we are dealing with the biggest snowflake on the internet. I'm pretty confident of that.
Look, I think it's kind of mean of us to really go after him right now because he's going through some shit, I think. In case you haven't seen.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
He's been going
No,
through
I
some
haven't.
stuff.
What's he going through?
Well, okay, he lays it out here. Let me find it. Okay, yeah.
I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm on antidepressants up the wazoo, literally.
I can't get off Tatum ass, bro.
Social media, I think it's reality. I'm cripplingly lonely, and I'm desperate for attention. And so I put in my bio a shitload of flags and gained other people's opinions as my own and call myself as from heel versus babyface.
Yeah. What a fucking useless sack of shit I am.
I mean, we would all go through a rough time if we were heels versus babyface.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish that on fucking anybody. Except
know.
for as from heel versus babyface. I would wish it on him.
Well, he naturally deserves it.
I feel like I'm having a stroke. I'm watching that. That was incredible.
I'm sorry. You might not be used to. Sometimes my edits go in and out of some weird perspectives, and I'm not even sure what I'm doing half the time. I'm just like, well, this is funny, and then yeah. I mean, look, that's actually fucking rookie level shit. You haven't seen his review of She-Hulk. Whew.
Oh, he's mad about the twerking, right?
Well,
He
I
has
mean,
to be.
Bob, you remember my video?
Oh, I remember.
It is. I mean, honestly, I maybe went too far with the like. I think Little Movie Perp. He likes weird, cringe shit, and he was like, "This is almost too much for me." So, but we can check it out. It's fun. Or we can just save it for the end of the stream and talk about something that's actually relevant.
I will say, if Twitter still did animated GIF avatars, which I will buy Twitter Blue if you bring that back. I'm not kidding. If Twitter Blue users get the animated GIF avatars, because what's his name? Ross from Game Grumps has had one for a decade, and its smug aura mocks me. I need one, but I'll make it the She-Hulk twerk. That's my solemn vow. I'll make my avatar the She-Hulk twerk, just her butt. That's what it's going to be.
It's
forever.
one of those simple things that will trigger so many people.
I actually made an image of like lots of things. It's just like one image contains several things, mainly people that trigger them. And I was like, maybe we could use that as some kind of like, you can ward them off if they show up to your stream or something like that. just like show that image and they'll go like a vampire and run away. It's got like Brie Larson and
I need to get my Black Widow popcorn bucket back in my frame because
what happened to it? What the hell?
Quickly, because I turned around my computer so I could do 2 monitors, and now I don't have background for it. But I need to get it, bring it back because every time they look at me, it's like, oh, Black Widow popcorn bucket. It's like,
you know what we didn't get to? We're good. We're professionals. Check it out. So the Benny Johnson thing. Looked into him. He is the head of productions at Turning Point USA, which is the first time, as far as I know, that they've made it. TP USA has kind of been roped into all this shit with the fandom menace and whatnot. Which I surprised it took this long, but now you've got on some level they are friendly with, or possibly even making content with, everybody from fucking TP USA. Nerdrotic has been on PragerU. Or Prager videos or whatever. Then you got, of course, fucking Eric July is literally an employee of Blaze Media. And as well as Alex Stein, who's like been shown in, he's in the infamous video with RK Output, Ryan Kennel, where they're literally at fucking theme park together, like just seem to be like in their off time, just hanging out together. So that's kind of like yikes. And then what else is there? Oh, of course, Alex Jones and InfoWars and the Nerd Wars channel that we covered a couple weeks ago. That's just working hand in glove with all these guys and using their content to make these quote unquote documentaries. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's just a lot of coincidences, I guess, is what it is, right? It's got to be.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, then you want to take it even further.
Then you look at dark money that networks all these people. Is there?
No. Well, then you can look at the fact that Steve Bannon personally asked Chuck Dixon and Mike Barron to write the Clinton Cash graphic novel adaptation in 2016, and which then kind of like kick-started Chuck Dixon into this right-wing, kind of like post-comics career grift that he's doing, where the next thing he did after that was he went and worked with Vox Day on a QAnon comic book. Of course, now he's more legit now. He's working with the Rippaverse, a legit comic book publisher.
Sure.
And so is Mike Barron as well. And it's just like, wow, man, it's so many like connective threads to these literal fucking right-wing propaganda organizations. Crazy. It's crazy. What do you think, Jared? Is it?
Well, I mean, I think that probably until something changes, we'll just see people iterating more and more on the Steve Bannon model of doing things, where they just sort of continuously try to capture aggrieved young men using whatever interests or media content appeals to them.
So what do you think is that? I think you hit it on the nail on the head. What do you think it is that's going to have to happen, or most likely to happen, or even possible? Is it? It's going to have to be that there's not so many aggrieved young men, right?
Oh, I mean, eventually, that's sure. What a hopeful day. I mean, realistically, one of these people is going to get somebody killed, and there's going to be a legal case, and then to save face, Google's going to scrub a bunch of their stuff from YouTube.
Yeah,
probably is what realistically is going to happen. You can only have so many people in your political movement named in the manifestos of mass shooters.
Right.
Crowder actually got kicked off of YouTube, didn't he?
I think so. I mean, apparently, doing right-wing, literal hate speech and like, anti-trans propaganda stuff, that's like not necessarily enough to do anything. But if you're like, Russell Brand and you've been accused of some rapes or whatever, then like, yeah, I guess that'll do it. So, Russell Brand is
Crowder's still here.
I think probably it'll, if in order for any of this landscape to really fundamentally change, something pretty major would have to happen legally, because that's usually been what motivates massive changes on YouTube's end. The reason that Content ID works the way that it does on YouTube is because of like legal cases that have been brought to them, good and bad.
Realistically, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no,
I was going to say, realistically, it has to be something that costs someone money, like a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean,
or has the potential to.
I think that's what it is. It'll It'll have to be something. Okay, someone in chat says Crowder was only demonetized. I see. I thought maybe for a while there was a threat of him getting suspended or something.
Interestingly enough, there's actually a video from the Majority Report from I think yesterday called, and it's actually Emma and not Sam, titled "Is Tech Making Young Men Dumb and Right Wing?" And I feel like that I can kind of just intuitively say that's yes.
Yeah. What's the time, the runtime on that video?
10:24.
Well, that's a really long. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe like one of the other guys, the producers on the show, he has to say yes as well. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like there needs to be more legal inquest into Silicon Valley as well. Just like the sheer amount of grifting and fraudulent behavior that goes on there is kind of astounding, and how much people tend to fall for it. I mean, nowadays people like Elizabeth Holmes are a joke, but there was a time when like
she cost a lot of money. She cost money.
Yeah, and potentially, I mean, with the technology that was not real, imagine a version of those events, but instead of kind of getting outed for defrauding people, I forget what the actual specifics of the case were, but just loosely speaking, instead of being things stopping at that stage, imagine if you could produce a product and only have it kind of come back to you legally when it actually costs somebody something much more material. Because if that was like a pharmaceutical product or something, I mean, it could be a different kind of situation. And with tech, I mean, with the way that AI works, it's hard to see this getting caught early. I think it sort of seems like, I mean, pending like stuff like union action costing companies money on the way there, it really kind of feels like mainly the thing that's going to have to happen is there's going to have to be some sort of major consequence that causes somebody to bring the hammer down, which is also, I think, self-awarely why a lot of right-wingers are trying to get into those institutions to run them a certain way right now in advance of that ever potentially happening. So that they prevent those consequences.
Both that and building their own parallel structure of things, where they're like they've created their own version of everything, right? Except like in the case of Elon, where he just literally stole the one that was generally used for decent purposes. A couple things I wanted to say. Bob of the old ways, it's Alex Stein, Ben Stein. I think he's kind of a piece of shit from what I understand, but I don't think he's the one that was harassing AOC. That'd be kind of funny, though.
I doubt
honestly.
Ben Stein was doing that. That being said, Ben Stein is actually a piece of shit. He was a hardcore Nixon fan back in the day.
Which was really crappy to learn, because I liked his show back in the day. I thought he was a fun personality and stuff. And
the 80s character he did, especially in like Ferris Bueller, is hilarious. And yeah, it was disappointing to learn.
And then Julia, I mean, I agree with you. The last part of that, I think, is a statement you can't possibly make. I mean, it's definitely caused a lot of harm, like a shitload of fucking untold harm. But like, the thing is that you don't see the good that something like YouTube can create, right? Like, there are people that learn things, people connecting, those things do still happen. They don't get talked about. It's not exciting to watch content about the positive benefits of something like YouTube, but it does happen.
I mean, I would have said the same thing back when Google first bought YouTube, because the internet was a little bit different then. But more and more, what you're seeing is things are getting centralized around a smaller handful of sites.
I think you're right.
And I think, imagining one platform going down would be a big deal. Imagine if like 3 of these social media platforms went down. 20 years ago, people would have been like, "Oh wow, who gives a shit?" But like now, that's a lot of data. That's a lot of some people's livelihoods. I mean, it's become a real problematic situation, win or lose. Good or bad.
Oh, buddy, Hyperion, I literally never forget that. I made sure to put it in our mission statement that we did. Like, it's in there because it is telling, and I like the other day with basically anytime there's some fucking obvious right wing situation, like violence pops off or whatever, and it's like I try to find, like, the guy that cut his fucking dad's head off. I do have that upload coming up on the Initiative channel too. Like I have it all ready to go. It just needs to be uploaded. But like, yeah, they cut his fucking dad's head off. And I, whenever I learned about it, it was like within a few hours of it happening, and I went to his YouTube channel to see if I could see what is, but they'd already taken it down and whatnot. But I imagine, it's so tantalizing, and it's kind of fucked up to say, but I just imagine that there was some recognizable names, if it would have been able to see his subscriptions or whatever. It's just without fail, because the shit that the guy was saying is like, you take out a couple of words here and there, or in some cases full sentences could just be put into like one of these guys' videos, and it would be indistinguishable from a normal video.
I would be interested how, if when they take a channel like that down, how much of that data they keep on the back end at Google, because I would wonder if that came up at some stage, whether a court could subpoena that.
Right. Yeah, that
would be kind of an interesting development. But
it's probably like they're shredding those documents, so to speak, I imagine. But who knows? Yeah, who knows how they do that? There's that guy who was definitely a big fan of Josiah Rises of all of the chuds. He's like the lamest one in some ways. But
yeah, I want to touch on something that Philip said in chat. Actually, the algorithm is so much at fault for shoving chud channels in people's recommendations. This is a great point. There was a case, this was years ago now. There was a big brief scandal with people being able to take out ads on Facebook, actually, and target them by racial demographic, including if they were ads for housing. So you could pull this and say, if somebody's profile says that they're Black or Jewish, you could say, well, don't show this housing this advertisement for new housing to somebody who's Black or Jewish. Which I think we understand is very much in the spirit of housing discrimination, in a very targeted way. And I think something that is going to come up at some point, if the world doesn't just explode or something, is that a lot of these algorithms allow for things like that or create things like that. And I think it is an interesting question when you're instituting that practice, that element of your website as a corporation. To what degree can you be held accountable? Facebook did get sued. I think that was how it came up. Yeah. But with this sort of thing,
I did a video in 2020. It was about Westworld season 3. But it was really about what Westworld season 3 was about, and what it made me start to do research on, which was how social media algorithms operate, and the harm that they do, since like they cause a lot more harm than you might realize. And that's like one perfect example of like just so many different ways in various aspects of life that it's creating these problems. Like there's algorithms that are being used in certain areas for like probationers, and they will just like, without any seeming any distinguishing characteristics between like this guy who's on probation or wants to get parole and this guy who wants to get parole or whatever, except one of them's white, one of them's Black, and then the white guy will get parole and the Black guy won't. Things like that. Because there's like whatever these algorithms are programmed by human beings who have biases. And those biases get programmed into them.
Well, I mean, do you guys want me to go like full dark chariot on this? Because there's actually a level to this in terms of like academic discourse and legal battles that I don't usually bring up. But
how about
a lot of these channels, these chud channels, they really hate critical race theory, right?
Right.
Something that like academics who subscribe to critical race theory and deploy it in their work will write about things like, for example, the opinions of public figures from Martin Luther King Jr. to Barack Obama, who have many of them been critical of practices that occurred and began to occur increasingly in law when segregation changed in the United States. When integration occurred, there were legal battles in the U.S. about the treatment of Black Americans and about whether it violated their civil liberties to construct social institutions which essentially gave them like kind of different outcomes or different treatments knowingly, and whether the government is entitled to protect them from those kinds of outcomes and essentially discriminations. And there was an actual court case, a very famous one that Barack Obama, back when he was a lawyer, wrote about and criticized. And I mean, of all people to be vindicated in this it's kind of crazy, I guess, that it would be him, at least from my perspective. But it's funny because there was a court case where the government ruled that it didn't violate their civil liberties to extend that kind of treatment. And what's interesting is that if that court case had gone the other way, we'd be living in a very different kind of country. So I think, I'm the kind of person who has a very kind of like systemic point of view. I'm a communist, I'm not the kind of person who sits around and talks about how we can ameliorate issues under capitalism by improving people's conditions in individual ways that just, make a few problems easier to deal with. But that actually is a real problem that real academics have really written about that could really affect some of these landscapes. So I don't know. I mean, there's a legal battle to be fought in the future, pending our ability to do so.
Right. Yeah. Assuming we aren't just like, a fascist nation outright, like within a year.
Yay, Project 2025.
Yay. But actually what I need to do with the information, because I did a lot of research for that Westworld video and it did not do super well. And I kind of like my cope reason, what realistically is probably because not a lot of people wanted to watch a video about Westworld season 3, but my cope reason is because
actually, sorry, I have to pull a Tim Pool and go to the bathroom right now. Is that okay?
Okay.
Be back in like 2 minutes.
Oh my God.
Okay, I'll be right back. I know, I'm so sorry. I'd be back in a Jeff.
No worries. Do you think it's do you think it's because of us? Or Don Jr. just like, is it because of me?
It definitely is.
Oh my God. Anyway, shit. I think I have a Tim Pool clip about Chuck Dixon here. I'm not sure. It has to do with like X-Men and stuff. So like fucking Eric July he's back on his fucking X-Men wasn't created to be a allegory, metaphor, or anything kind of tip. And it's like
real quick, Rippaverse Goalpost, we mentioned Eric July. You get recorded, dude.
Yeah, you'll be we mentioned him. In other words, Eric July, hit record because we're talking about you and you're going to want to use this for your Rippaverse Goalpost account.
How dare you imply something that is almost certainly true?
Could be the wife, sure.
Yeah, could be.
Man, what I was thinking of finding was that you remember when we did that stream, just me and you, Bob, where we talked about old Jim the Casual Racist.
Yeah.
And we looked at we did a whole kind of thing where we explained the YouTube algorithm and how they changed it a few years ago. And I had a drop type clip that I'd made from that I think was pretty good. I'm trying to find that. But why don't you go ahead and explain it, Bob? Just lay everything out for us, man. What's up?
I'll get all ready for you guys.
No, did you see that you had a really fucking great short that was a great companion for DJ's excellent short, and those were at the beginning of the stream. If you missed that, I don't know if you were here in time for that, but
no, I was not. No.
DJ's, well, I'll just play that because not everybody was here at the beginning of the stream, and these were very fucking good. Good shorts. But I'm actually thinking about like kind of they made me start thinking that we could do a project. I'll pitch it elsewhere, but
So, although because we did bring up Eric July, so let me go ahead and
yeah.
point out something. So, like Eric July is making the same like he's done a couple X-Men videos in the past few days, and I don't even know if I should react to them because I already did react to them. I did,
and all he's doing is telling people to go watch his video from 5 years ago.
And I did a reaction to it a year ago. I guarantee you, there's no new fucking arguments. I've already covered this.
No, I am making a video on this topic. That's why I don't want to go into it really right now, because then I'll feel less motivated to finish the video. But it's basically just that, like, he's right, and he is.
It's like a technicality, but he's missing like the broader picture significantly.
Well, dude, it's just like what your fucking short here says. You fucking nailed it. Where you say that like it's the hint of truth that they start with, and then let's check it out.
Give us some good entertainment that lets us escape from the humdrum existence that a lot of us have.
I don't believe you, Critical Drinker, and I definitely do not believe Gary from Nerdrotic. Hey everyone, my name is Eric, and I'm going to expose their grift in less than 1 minute, so pay attention. These guys exist in a space where their entire foundation is based on hating something the minute we get news or information about it. That means there's no reality where they won't continue to astroturf and be mad about stuff because it is their business model. Their pay pigs / fans want to pay them and be supportive of them for them to get on camera and scream and get upset about the thing. They want them to say the thing. They want them to be angry. This is their existence. They don't actually want Disney or Marvel or Lucas or any of these companies to change what they're doing because it would destroy their business model, and there is no financial incentive for them to be happy or excited about any of this stuff. So this entire video that I clipped this from is absolutely disingenuous. They're all liars and grifters. They just want their pay pigs to put money in their bank accounts. That's their grift.
And for the record, that the clip that he is from the Benny Johnson conversation, which I meant to show just for context. The name of the stream, the video that upload is Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic. How the internet destroyed woke Hollywood. So just for the record, everybody, now we know woke Hollywood has been destroyed. Okay.
Yes.
And then
now
we are the culture now. That's a quote.
Are these guys' fault.
The quote is, "We are the culture now." So Critical Drinker and Gary Nerdrotic are the culture now. So from now on, I mean, their content's clearly going to change now, right? Like their content is going to be completely different. It has to be. The conditions have changed, right?
Well, they destroyed Hollywood.
Yeah. So it's just going to be them like saying, "Look, everything is great now." I imagine that's what they're going to have to do. Like all these movies that are coming out are exactly what we want because the internet, which kind of is us, them, they are the culture. They destroyed woke Hollywood. So cool.
So when a bad movie comes out, we blame them. So like Will Jordan, Gary Buechler, what's up with this Madam Web shit?
Yeah, no shit, dude. I mean, maybe it's kind of like The Flash with James Gunn though. You know, where it was already kind of like going through the tubes before, and they just kind of bite the bullet on that one. We'll give them a pass on Madam Web, okay? But like,
okay.
After that, all bets are off, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to finish this with your excellent short here.
That's the thing. So they might have hintings of things that are correct. There might be like little things, little factoids they have that help booster their arguments, and that's why their arguments will carry weight with people. But like when you look at the broad arguments, it's wrong. Like the whole argument essentially, comic book stores are suffering and they're not doing well. True. And then you're like, and the reason why is because there's lots of women writing comic books and too many women characters. False. That's actually a way of expanding the demographic and getting more people to read comic books. But they'll use that argument and then get everybody like, that's what changed. That's what's different. And, you get that hint of truth. That hint of truth. Comic book stores are suffering. Oh, that hint of truth. And then you can get all these people go, what's the reason for that? And then you can start selling them the lies. Then it's because of women. It's because of minorities. They're taking over the white male space. Complete fucking bullshit.
Yep. And that is Sunday, by the way. We're gonna be talking about that old biatch.
Yeah.
So
I don't like her.
I think she's honestly, like, there's a handful of people that just come to mind when I think like about like basically evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it what she does is fucking evil, dude. And we can you know what? I'm gonna talk about it for a minute if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
It's all right with me.
Oh hey, oh shit! You actually
Sorry,
came back.
I've been here for I've been here for a minute. It's just that you guys were popping off, so I was just
do like we do and interrupt. You know, just fucking just dive right in there. So, yeah. So, do you know off the top of your head or at all like how many instances have there been where libs of TikTok like targeted a school or a hospital or whatever, and then like within a couple of days after there was some kind of like threat? It's been at least a couple of dozen, right? Like,
I think the problem with it, I think, is that it's become so regular now. If you're just talking about like threats and like harassment and stuff, I hear about it with basically every case that gets really like picked up by the media. You know, so it's hard to
Sure.
say how often it's happening, because if you look into it and it's happening every time, but you know, some of it doesn't quite get the same traction, then
Right.
it's hard to select from that and to know exactly. But
and
yeah,
that is a feature, not a bug, of stochastic terrorism. Is that like
well, I mean, it's at minimum the intent to bully all queer people from mainstream society. You know, to have there be no reminder of us, no representations of us. You know, and had to have ideas about us kind of forced back into the closet. Essentially, is the idea.
Yeah, so like
it's you know.
Here is a and I know that there's a better article that I've got somewhere. I'm just not sure where I dropped the link. An NBC News article: Libs of TikTok creator accused of inspiring school bomb threats. It was recent. Like I said earlier, she was named to Oklahoma Library Board, which is just indicative of the right wing and like where their minds are at as far as like the way forward in society in their eyes is to literally destroy the people, or at the very least, like you're saying, Chariot, with a threat of destruction of the people that you just don't want around. And that's the way to do it. They've fucking given up on any kind of I don't know, faking that they care about democracy or actual liberty or anything like that. It's just, you know, liberty for me, none for thee. And then there's this The Advocate has an excellent breakdown of sorry, I realize I'm not showing that actually on screen. The Advocate actually has a great breakdown here of stochastic terrorism and the links between GOP, right-wing influencers, and neo-Nazi violence. Cool shit. Cool. Love to hear it. As part of its effort to demonize LGBTQ plus communities nationwide, the GOP has removed books from classrooms, banned the mention of gender identity and sexual orientation, and forbidden using pronouns. Just using fucking pronouns.
Yeah.
Like,
is that I don't think that's possible.
Drag queens are portrayed as deviants, while transgender people are portrayed as illegitimate and needing to be legislated out of existence. Yeah, here's just another. That's not actually. That was just an ally who was murdered for having a flag at the store that she owned or operated. Pride flag got her killed.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah, I mean, like this is why, like, when they try and do this shit, like we're just some conservatives or whatever, and it's like, no, you're not. You are not. You know, conservatives of even like fucking 7, 6, 8 years ago. Like it was definitely starting to happen at that point, but like now it is just the norm is that conservatives are fascists now. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's interesting because I think I think in this one regard, as far as the treatment of queer people goes, it's I don't personally view this as a way that the conservative movement and others are welcome to have different perspectives. It's just kind of my personal perspective. I don't view this as a way that they've changed their ideas about us that much. I think what we're seeing is that this movement is becoming, definitely in terms of its behaviors, more aggressive in some major regards. Specifically because not really. This isn't really like a point of disagreement, I guess, but just like a kind of a competing characterization, because the reason why I think that's happening is that they felt very defeated by the legalization of gay marriage. Whereas before then, when they would describe us, they would essentially like describe either that God would smite the nation if we were given too many equal rights as cisgender heterosexual people, or they would act like it would annihilate society from within, which is essentially, by the way, what the word degeneracy means when they apply it to us. So the attitudes, I think, their beliefs, American conservatism, in that regard, I would say, has been pretty consistent. I think the behavior.
I guess what I'm saying, what I should say is, the actions that they're taking, the comfort with which they're willing to say certain things, but I mean, it's the underlying sentiment has been the same. You're absolutely right, and the things that I grew up in the Deep South and shit. I've heard. It's one of the reasons I make content about this stuff, is like I know how a lot of these people think and how they talk about things. So like whenever I see them trying to act like, something like, oh, it's not about, the flag's not about hate, it's about heritage. The Confederate flag is like, no, actually, man, I'm from the South. I've known several people who fucking flew the flag, hang it up in their fucking bedroom. They know exactly what it was about. You know what I mean? Like they're not, you can't blow smoke up under my ass about that.
Also, a certain percentage of American heritage is racial hatred. True. That's the conversation people really, because that's such a, like blowing smoke up your ass is such a perfect way of saying it, because like, it's not hate, it's my heritage. Well, buddy, for the Confederacy, it's a little the same thing if you hold that to be your heritage, That's like saying, like slavery. What if slavery was something you considered part of your heritage, If you're German, is the Holocaust part of your heritage? I mean, there's a lot of things in history that are related very strongly to sentiments of racial grievance and racial hatred. And I think that notion, to act as if these are distinct things automatically is very wrong, especially when conservatives then turn around and say things like, well, these people in the past, they were products of their time. Well, that time is your heritage, man. So in a way, so are you.
What do we feel like? I mean, this is probably definitely a conversation for another stream or something, because it's just kind of popped into mind. But like the fact that Ron DeSantis was rejected essentially, and then like so was Vivek, and it's like that kind of indicates to some degree that the being anti this and that is it's definitely part of it for all of them. But like the being Trump is the thing that so many of these people are attached to now. They're not Trump. That was the reason they were rejected, right? And it's like, is that, do you think that is that like I don't even know what I'm trying to convey right now, except that it just feels like that could be a good thing in the long run, hopefully. You know what I mean? Just like that it's not as much some pure ideology of like, we will do anything to get rid of the degeneracy or whatever, but like it's more like, well, as long as it's Trump. You know what I mean? Like because when you think about how kind of crazy it is that they're attaching themselves to this guy who, I mean, probably won't happen, but there is a possibility that something could prevent him from even being eligible or whatever, or he could just lose maybe, you know what I mean? And like, and they passed up other opportunities to hitch their wagon to. I don't know.
So to bring us back a little bit, because you guys brought up the Confederate flag, and I think this is worth bringing up, because when people are saying, I just want to hang the Confederate flag because, it's part of my heritage and I won't recognize it. It's the Confederate flag.
Yeah.
Why don't they hang this?
Right, yeah, they hang
Why
the
do they
battle
choose
flag,
the
so-
other
or the
one?
version of
Why
it.
don't you?
Because it's not the one that was on that car in that show that we watched as a kid.
Oh, okay.
I watched that show. I'm embarrassed, but I liked that show. I liked that car. I didn't know better, guys. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah, I
It's
didn't
okay.
know either. I remember when I was a kid liking that show too.
Yeah, man, you're totally fucking banned, dude. Look at you. Look at how banned you are.
He's
you
incredibly banned.
Victim. All right.
Banned for life. None of you are free of bans. Yeah, it's interesting. I think so. This is like the deep lore, but I have a lot of, I guess, like weird experiences arguing with people on the internet about conservatism. When I was like 10, I got really into like logging anonymously onto forums to argue with Christians about like Christian theology and cosmology and biblical scripture, and that kind of transitioned pretty immediately into arguing with conservatives online. So I was a middle school debate bro, basically. Yeah. And you know, by the time I started making YouTube videos, I was out of college, so you know, very different headspace. But my point of reference for a lot of this is I've had a lot of interactions with you know, conservatives generally, Christian conservatives, Southern conservatives, who are frequently very outspoken, especially when you're, you know, like I'm from the Chicago burbs, so you know, I'm just a different type of person to some of them, and especially being like, you know, transgender and gay and stuff. But it's interesting because there's something I remember really strongly that really cemented in my mind my views of conservatives, because you know, for years I was still getting into arguments online about things, and it was, you know, every time there was another shooting of a black man, or in some cases a child, that got a ton of media traction, as those particular cases sometimes, among others, tend to do. And it you know, I would get into an argument. I remember there was one in particular where there was a guy who the story at the time, and I'm not going to get into the weeds with this because it's not really important specifically, but the story at the time was that he ran from the cop, and the cop shot him. And I was arguing about this story in an online forum with a conservative, and this guy said to me, well, he shouldn't have run from the cop. Just reflexively, immediately, the first response. And before I could say anything, someone else responded to him and pulled up his like private blog, because this was like back in the day, you know, like things were a lot less decentralized, and pulled up a blog post from that guy's personal blog where he talked about his experience running from the cops as a white guy. A time when he had like this very, he had autism, you know, so it's not me using this word in a like derogatory context, but he had kind of an autistic moment where he didn't know how to parse the social situation of a cop coming after him, and he ran from the police in kind of a panic, because he interpreted the situation in a different way, and the police chased him down and accosted him, but were not, you know, lethally violent to him, obviously, because he lived to tell the tale. And this guy's response, he was a dyed-in-the-wool conservative from Florida. His response was, how dare you use the worst day of my life against me? And I remember thinking to myself, like, all those guys, you see their face on the news, then they're already dead by the time you learn their name. You don't think that was the worst day of their life? Getting gunned down, sometimes for nothing, you know, getting choked out, getting knelt on, and then you know all the horrible things we've seen. But no, it's about me, the worst day of my life. I think you shouldn't have done this. I think you should have done that. My heritage, my rights, my views. The world orbits me. And that is the thing that I absolutely cannot stand about these people. And that's why I use the word narcissism so much, is because it feels very much like what I've been doing is spending years arguing with a bunch of bad faith, self-centered dick riders who just, you know, worship authoritarians, and they love seeing other people get hurt. It's all about them. You know, they'd cry and scream and call for their mother if it was them, you know, and that'd be the time for empathy. But whatever. Exactly, Terra Story. They don't see minorities as human beings, you know. And worse than that, they put, I mean, somebody who looks and acts like them on the cross for nothing, you know, if they're just a member of the wrong political party. It's it's disgusting. It's revolting. So I don't know. That's just kind of my little conservative rant. I apologize.
No, and I actually just now, timing wise, this works out because I just found this video that I've been trying to find. This video clip from it's actually from that stream you and I did, Bob, about Jim the Casual, and you know, it's actually nice. It might be nice to revisit Jim the Casual because that was a hell of a thing. Man, I don't know, man. Like right at the beginning of the initiative too, Bob. That happened. It was kind of like that was the wind in the sails a little bit. Like, oh shit, this is gonna be fun. Because we did a debate with some guys that were like, he was wanting to defend, was it Rags and EFAP, I guess, and then like Critical Drinker. Is that right?
Yeah, Critical Drinker mainly. I think that was before EFAP covered me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so there was
Early days.
What they wanted to, yeah. Well, I think Rags had maybe done a video on you, or
no, Rags had already covered me. He was the first. Was he the first big one to start covering? No, well, I guess Ethan was the first one, but then Rags came.
Yeah, fucking Rags, man. Like, what a piece of shit that guy is. That dog is. But yeah, so this is a, I don't know. It's like 6 minutes. Maybe we should just end the stream with this because I am getting pretty hungry. But. Wow. This is also right at the time that Avatar 2 was coming out, which we made a lot of note of the fact that at first it didn't seem they never did really kind of come together on how they were going to cover. I'm talking about the anti-fans, how they were going to cover Avatar 2. It was like some of them were calling it woke. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them were calling it woke. Some of them were saying that it wasn't woke. There was actually this owns Marvel, or whatever. And it's like Disney owns all of it,
which makes no sense.
But like that didn't seem to matter to them. Kind of the same way that now it doesn't matter to them that because I can see so many videos about Madam Web that, like, another failure for Marvel. It's like really, I mean, only in the way that like people are like you are connecting them to Marvel more than they deserve to be. But yeah, this is just an interesting time and a fun edit too, I think.
Well, why are you going to challenge me to a debate and not know? Like, they obviously wanted to talk to me about stuff, but then they didn't have any like.
For context, Chariot, this was this guy Jim had challenged Bob to a debate, and I guess he wanted his friend to come along. And then, like kind of last minute, I was already playing. We were playing on me being on Bob's stream for a little bit, and then he was going to have this debate afterward. But then, like kind of last minute, he realized the guy was bringing a friend or whatever. And he was like, "Hey, do you want to do this debate with me?" And I was like, fucking guess so." And I had no idea what it was going to be about or anything, And boy, it did not go well for that guy.
No.
It got to the point where like he eventually said, he eventually dropped the N-word to try to defend from any accusations of being racist.
Because that's how you win a debate. Oh shit, I better just drop the N-bomb right now.
Yeah, the tactical N-bomb. That's
exactly. And we all know that's a pathway to horse porn. You know what I mean?
That's just it's a strategy that always works and is always successful. It never backfires.
It never becomes like one of the main things that people know about you.
I love getting on stream to debate somebody when you're just pissed drunk. That is the level of like male misplaced confidence of like the guys who think they could beat Serena Williams in a tennis match, despite having never held a racket.
So
Ridiculous.
Let's see. So you know what? Here, let's do this one first. This one's Jim. I just got several clips where it was bizarre shit. Jim couldn't define what woke means in this one case. So let's see. Oh, never mind. Not that one. This one. Okay. God damn it. Did I click the wrong damn one? I'm sorry.
Well, I do find it's interesting when you do like debates with these guys. You kind of see, like they reveal like a lot, like mainly that they don't actually do research and they just follow these guys and just take everything they say as gospel.
Yeah, that's what they literally. These guys were like, "Well, I don't really watch or the movies most of the time. They just watch
Yeah.
the YouTubers." And like, holy shit, dude, that you can't do that. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I mean, yeah, why watch the movie when you can see an 8-hour Mahler video on it?
So this was
I
was
actually
fun.
had that realization recently. Sorry, talking in a recent video, I had that realization that I think a certain amount of the reason why some of the video essays are so long, despite the content, is because they're kind of stand-ins for the experience of watching the film.
Mm-hmm.
It's yeah. So this is where he remember the joke he told us.
Yeah, it was weird.
This is
literally this morning. I was talking with a black man and a Hispanic at my work. I was talking to them about this discussion tonight. I had talked to we will call the black man let's call him Jake.
Let's be real, right there. I'm sorry, but he was trying to think of a name that didn't sound exactly like what he thinks a black guy's name is. Right?
Yeah.
He had to have been.
And we shall call the Hispanic Craig. So, talking to Jake about this, I asked him, how much racism do you run into every day? And he was like, how much racism do you actually deal with? That was the wording that I used. And he goes, every day. I'm like, wow, okay. And he started telling me about how he grew up and, dealing with, racist people, things like that. But then he was like, but he knew that they came from a place of ignorance and that you should judge people for their actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then he pointed over to Craig and he goes, I'm sure that he gets it all the time because, they've got one house and they got, 5 different families with 5 different names in it. And Craig just looks over me and he goes, you know what? We only got 2.
All right.
Okay.
So what point do you feel like that makes, man?
Yeah.
Because sometimes jokes are just jokes.
Okay. No,
I mean, I am look,
remember that
credit to him.
story
I'm
being
laughing
so
my ass
fucking
off right now.
confused.
So
yeah. I just remember hearing that story, but like, how's this a story for your point of view? What?
it was about he was talking about I don't remember what it was specifically because he was getting real granular about the claims that are made and the things you criticize and stuff. Because that was one of the main things that I noticed with that too is that like if we went and watched that back and we actually took note of all of the points that we fucking just like we just got them on like they had to move off of that because they had no choice because we destroyed their fucking point. And then whenever it came to anything else, like whenever we would give an explanation for why you criticized a certain thing in the video or whatever, and they just wouldn't let it go. You know what I mean? Like they just can't fucking get over the fact that you would even dare criticize something as possibly being, it's got some racial tones to it or whatever the hell. And it's like that's one of the reasons that they don't debate anymore. The right. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they have been debating for a while.
It has slowed down a bit. The 1 or 2 things that they still do is like invitational stuff, like come to my compound and look at my samurai sword and you'll be on my podcast. And then I also like the college campus stuff. But I've noticed more and more like when kind of center or like right wing people think of themselves as centrist. That's not how I would describe them, but or like right wing people offer debates. Very frequently, I'm seeing this trend of like just stacking the room with like, okay, 1 or 2 of you guys can come on and give your lefty nonsense, and it's going to be me and my 5 friends.
Right.
And
yeah.
it's like, bro, why do you need all these backup dancers if you're so right? Like, just, 2v2 with like a neutral agreed upon moderator, if that's the deal or whatever. But like, I don't know. It feels like the formats have gotten a lot shakier.
Well, they need to have control over the optics of and the narrative as much as possible. Like they need to be able to control how that whatever happens in that debate, they need to be able to make it appear as if they won, no matter what, basically. And that's should be telling to anybody that gives a shit. But like that was kind of the mistake of these guys, is that they actually just showed up to a debate. You know what I mean? Like Jim, give him credit, I guess, that he actually showed up to just exchange ideas as best as he was able to in his state of mind. And the other guy was just, poor guy. It seems like he didn't really know what he was fully getting into. But yeah, so here's the longer clip of so this is like what, a couple months later. So basically, by the way, after the debate where he said the N-word and some other a couple other like holy shit type things, he basically quit or was kicked out of his streaming duo situation that he was in. So I like literally have a video up where it's like, did I get a guy canceled? Because he essentially his streaming partner was like, yeah, so Jim's gonna be not working on the channel for a while. And
that's
I guess I'll go
great.
ahead and go into it. It's been a while, but there was an internal conversation on their server talking about how largely like he was like, I'm gonna debate organized chaos, and the response was kind of like, oh, who was that? And Jim was like, what, you don't know who he is? Gillo, this video. And then the response after he posted the video was like, what are you debating him over? And he's like, the crazy stuff he says. And they're like, what do you mean?
I mean, guys, by the way, like, just in case you don't know, if I ever title a video like that, like, I know I didn't get him canceled. I don't even believe in being canceled. I don't think that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, that's how I titled it, because YouTube be YouTube like that. Nonetheless.
Talk to me about stuff, but then they didn't.
So yeah, he showed up a couple months later in your comments, right?
Yeah.
And it was it was about a debate you had with. Did you have a debate with somebody? Is that what it was?
I think this. No, I don't think it was She-Hulk. No, I don't remember what it was. Wait. What's your?
It was about She-Hulk.
Was it the Eric July? Was it the Eric July?
So I do remember. Okay, so now I'm remembering.
Oh no, I remember what it was. It was the Mahler coverage.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm remembering now that we decided not to go hard at him after the whole where he because at first we were like, oh my god, we fucking won so hard that he quit YouTube. You know what I mean? Like we were kind of like doing that dance about it. But then I had the realization, like, what if he's actually getting help? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I didn't want to. I was like, okay, you know what?
Yeah.
We don't know that he's not just like actually realized he had a fucking problem with the drinking and or whatever. You know what I mean? And like, I don't want to fucking discourage that. So we're just not gonna we're not gonna roast him too hard. We're just gonna move on. But then he came back, and I was like, okay. And me and Bob were like, literally, like, just in the moment. Like, I was like, let's fucking do a stream. Let's respond to this. Fuck this. He showed back up. He's gonna talk shit. All bets are off, motherfucker.
Have any like research behind it, and then you're drunk.
Well, and I think we can answer that today, honestly. There's a lyric of a song that I really like, and it goes. Is it coincidence that the craziest fools have the strongest belief that they're right? Yeah, I mean, it's expressing the the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Kind of live a bit of a very walled off kind of existence when it comes to these type of things. But from what I've gathered from different pieces of media, YouTube responses, things like that.
So what he's gathered from YouTube,
how do I put this? Popular term for woke is raising perceived groups that are at a disadvantage to a higher level and promoting them more, i.e., blacks, Asians, the other races,
blacks,
that is
Asians,
the way he's phrasing it. Yeah,
the gays, all that, and putting them on a plateau and making them the highlight of the conversation.
What in God's holy name are you blathering about?
So yeah, and by the way, we didn't get a copyright claim for that. Apparently, it's doesn't trigger it.
Yay! Yeah,
But,
I don't remember that. Yeah.
I mean, does it seem like a lot of them are always drunk? I mean, I don't doubt that they're probably inebriated in some ways. But no, what's funny is I had no idea he was drunk until this little movie perp was messaging me like, "Dude, he's shit faced," and I'm like, "What, really?" And I'm like, kind of listening, like, "Oh my god, I think he is." And yeah. I mean, probably because like they can't process reality too well, right? Like reality's hard for them, and they don't. A lot of them don't believe in like actual, mental health care. So like they self medicate. That would be the best explanation for it, if that's the case. No.
Go ahead.
Well, and it could be kind of selecting in the opposite direction, where if they're, thank you. If they're coming in drunk, it's they're or be more inhibited to check themselves before they wreck themselves. If they weren't drinking, I mean, and that's a great question. If you guys like drinking, and who doesn't? It's good fun. It is a good habit to get into, to think like, I am having this thought and this impulse because I'm drunk, and I probably shouldn't do this. Just as a reflex, it'll probably save you some grief to have that thought a few times.
Well, so like the upload that this is in, that this is a clip from, is it's literally called something about like the overconfidence of conservatives or anti-fans or whatever I called them, anti-fans, I think, in that case, because it's like they're so fucking cocky that they came to Organized Chaos's channel, watched a video, saw stuff they thought was just egregious about their favorite content creator. They challenged him to a debate, and then gets drunk and goes in debate, and then like I don't know. It's just, it blows my mind that I'm not going to get in a debate with somebody if I don't know like what I'm talking about, kind of. I mean, or at least like have an idea of being able to argue my way in, anyway.
The fact that they thought that there was apparently a tweet from the Star Wars account that called all Star Wars fans racist. Like, no, that does not exist, guys.
Yeah, it's like, it's insane. Why is Jim so confident in all this? And you obviously see what the commonality is, right?
Yeah.
It's woke. The word woke is in all of these, whether or not they enjoyed it or not. They make sure to keep that word in there. And why is that? A lot of you probably are aware, but I think it's worth getting into a little bit of specifics and understanding this a little bit better, because of how the YouTube algorithm works. And this goes to speak to what Jim was saying in that clip, where he learned what he knows about wokeness from YouTube.
Kind of live a bit of a very walled off kind of existence when it comes to blacks, Asians, the other races.
And I imagine that's where a lot of people did. But what's the problem with that? YouTube is not like, it's not a meritocracy. It's not like the best information is what gets seen the most. It's not the most popular information and content is always the most enlightened or informed content. Like me and Bob were talking beforehand about, we'll often get comments of somebody like, if you make a video about critical drinker or something, they'll go, "Oh, well, he's got 1 million subscribers and you don't, so that should tell you." Like, yeah, no, it does. It tells me that the algorithm is fucking weird. Well, Matthew, I mean, I agree in sentiment, but it is fixed. It's working the way it's supposed to in favor of YouTube and ads. That's the thing. That's why it won't get fixed, because it's not really broken to them. Anyway, yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to kind of just reiterate, and probably should find a way to reiterate.
Yeah.
Like, be mindful of the content that you consume. You're not like, it does seem like you're getting a flow that's catered, flow of content is like catered to you. Maybe you don't see much chud content or something, but if you watch our stuff, you probably do, because that's how we tag our videos and stuff. But yeah, you know, it's a good idea to remember that you do have the ability to change what your algorithm is giving you. You should not be passive in your YouTube consumption. If you're somebody that watches a lot of YouTube, you should be telling it, don't show me this channel. If you see a channel, don't just go, oh, there's another fucking critical drinker video, and then like scroll past it. Tell it, fucking don't show this to me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to see this channel. Hide it, fuck it, burn it, whatever. Because yeah, that I don't know. Just don't be a passive person in your
It's really funny. I completely agree. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's I probably say, you know, don't recommend a video like that to me, you know, to YouTube. Shoot, you know, a couple times a day, basically, because I'm on here. You know, when you're a YouTube creator, you know, you log on, you check your comments and stuff. You check how your videos are doing. You check what your upload schedule is and stuff like that. It's interesting because it's so how to put this exactly. There's a real poverty of curiosity in the kind of center and right as they might define themselves, as the case may be, among like chud and anti-fan content creators. There's so much literature that you could read that would educate you really well on progressive ideas and left-wing ideas. But it really seems like they prefer to have their point of contact be through sources that already agree with them. And I think that's a very human impulse.
Sure.
But the problem is that, like, for me, when I think about doing a video that I'm going to research something for, right? I don't just limit myself to like sources that are going to tell me what I already know, because then I could just write the video, right? And that wouldn't really be worth the effort, you know? Like when I was reading Nietzsche for a recent video, and you know, he's got an aphorism in Beyond Good and Evil where he says something about the women's liberation movement that I think is completely wrong. And I brought it to some of my Nietzsche obsessed friends, and they were like, "Oh, you know, he kind of recanted that later in his life or something." But you know, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, "Well, you know, this is philosophy. You read things and you question them and you think about them, and that's as part of that process, educate yourself, and you look for secondary sources and you look for interpretations." But you know, can you just imagine only like God, how often do you think these guys think about like critical race theory and stuff like that? You know, I watched that debate, and by the way, anybody in the audience and you guys, if you're interested, Real Radham, a chill streamer channel, did a debate with the guy who goes by Arch now, but he used to be Arch Warhammer.
Oh God, yeah.
He did a debate with him, kind of about like whether people are trying to make Warhammer woke and stuff like that. And there was a big like defining like the kind of like lefty terms and like common use terms about progressivism as well in that debate. And stuff like intersectionality started coming up, critical race theory started coming up, and you could really tell that this guy Arch was getting his views fed to him from other right wingers, because he was skipping really obvious stuff. I mean, God, like there's Crenshaw text that you could read pretty easily just by Googling for like PDFs online. Kimberly Crenshaw, a really major feminist figure right now. Huge academic, very, very frequently cited, very frequently talked about the idea of intersectionality, what it means. You know, if you are prepared to have these conversations with people, which if you're debating might be worth the effort. If you're going to be really tilting at somebody, you see their video and you go, "Oh, this guy's wrong about this, this, and this," and I'm going to go debate him. Well, you could do worse than like reading the authors that invented some of this language. And I think that's kind of the trouble with the word woke, is that it's such a catch-all.
Yeah.
Big Joel had a really funny encounter via like response videos with Adam and Sitch. on I think on the second channel.
I have a clip of we could watch actually of from that debate. I don't know if we've watched it yet, but anyway, sorry.
Oh yeah, it's yeah, sure, for sure.
Not right now. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just I'm
it's
bad
okay.
with that.
No, it's okay.
I'm bad.
I don't. My connection right now is a little rough around the edges, so I'm probably interrupting you guys.
We have a history with Adam and Sitch, so.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some things, but they reacted to a video of his and did that thing where they pause it super frequently and they talk more than he talks, and so then his points kind of get spaced out and they lose track of what he's saying, and then they freely admit that they don't know what he's saying, even though his point's very easy to follow in the context of his just a silly moment in live streaming. But
that's how EFAP does with their responses to other YouTubers too.
That's how a bunch of those of those live podcasts do things. Yeah. And but when Big Joel did a follow-up video, it's a really short follow-up on his second channel, Little Joel, I believe. And it was about the whole back and forth was about the word woke, and his point is that the way a lot of these people use it is it's just stuff it's just lib stuff, and I don't like the stuff that liberals like, is kind of what that word has come to mean, whereas previously it had a more specialized use case.
It used to be essentially relating to the African American community and the injustices involved with that. Now it just pretty much means not Nazi.
Pretty much, yeah. Like not someone who's like actively advocating to take rights away from people that you don't know for just because of some stuff you heard on the internet. It's a whole thing. I did want to, because actually speaking of woke, there is one of my favorite moments, honestly, of just like anything of my content that I've done was toward the beginning of our debate with those guys, not Adam and Sitch, the other guys, but like, they were talking about woke and how movies have gotten woke, and it's like, well, and I said something about, well, we need to define that because, people use it so randomly. I've heard it used for some really weird shit, like climate change and stuff like that. And then they're like, okay, so I think this is it right here. But you notice that. Yeah.
What does woke mean to you?
But you notice that moment when I said, I don't think it means anything. I don't believe woke means anything. What does it mean to you guys? What does it mean to you guys?
Well,
and they're both like, broke their brains for a second, and it's because of this. They have for years now been consuming this shit uncritically, unquestioningly, and then they see other people say it, and these other people are, and it feels good to be part of a community where you see other people saying the same thing you are, and they're liking yours and retweeting yours because you said it, and you never really challenge it. It becomes like, this is just a socially accepted thing. Ironically, this is the socially accepted thing on YouTube, especially, to think that woke is some fucking, imminent threat and it's affecting and poisoning everything, despite the fact that it's all very, very subjective and nobody can fucking really give a coherent definition that doesn't immediately contradict something else that they wouldn't call woke or didn't call woke.
Yeah.
But it's pretty funny. I'm just like, I don't think it means anything. It means whatever people want it to mean, essentially.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one from a response for somebody in the chat here. This is really, really key.
I had a mic drop.
Million Ideas says, I had to sound that name out in my head first. But Million Ideas says, why don't they just ask Black people what we meant by woke instead of hijacking?
Oh,
the real reason.
Man. I hate to be the one to tell you because they don't care what you think.
Well, they in a way, obviously in the way you mean it, that's true. In a way, they kind of care. But the real reason why is because what that does is that kind of puts the political power in the hands of Black people in a kind of epistemic sense, giving them the ability to define their own boundaries, their own freedoms, their own ideas. That's a sentiment for liberatory politics, not conservative politics.
They take the thing, the word that has power, that woke, as it was originally used, had a degree of power among African Americans, and it's like they knew what each other were saying, right? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. I'm sorry. Look, I'm autistic,
No, I
man.
mean, even
Don't be
even as a sarcastic comment, I thought it was worth dipping into, because it's such a good point that, you know, when ideas and cultural artifacts from Black culture, whether in an American context or otherwise, get mainstreamed, the derision and the disgust is very much, at least from some people, I think, a disgust of powerlessness, of the lesser, of the of kind of the margins of society. You know, in that moment, there it's a kind of a parallel disgust as how some of these people feel about it. Like, for example, they might say degeneracy. There's a similar kind of sentiment, I think, going on there. And you know, of course, it's easy to say, well, it's because they're racist. I mean, and obviously that's true, but you know, it just cuts a lot deeper, I think, and it's really.
Philip, you're right about. I mean, I guess from what I can tell about Tyrone Magnus, that seems accurate. I mean, but like Eric July, that dude rejects the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he just kind of could find a way around, like, or find a way to rejecting like the 14th Amendment. But that's neither here nor there. Yeah,
well, and you know, those thoughts are going on in the background of some of these social circles, because every now and again one of them creeps out, and you get somebody who works for the Daily Wire or something making can we have the conversation? Was slavery better for Black people? Did it have positives?
That's literally
I'm
part
being
of Florida. That's part of Florida, and now it's going to be part of Oklahoma's school curriculum. That actually they got a lot of skills, and they had some of them lived really good lives. You know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of shit they're going to be. I guess it'll be included along inside the stuff about how, like, well, some of them, it was a bad time for a few Black people, but some of them, it was good times. Like, that's fucking crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, you hear it in the background before it really emerges, but yeah, it is there. I mean, I remember years ago, I think it was like, was it on like Ben Shapiro's channel, or did he like do the voice work for it, or it might have been a PragerU thing? They collaborate so much. But there was a viral conservative mainstream video that was alt media mainstream, but it was like a kind of defense of colonizing America, and talking about how Native Americans were savages, and they did all this cannibalism, and we brought them civilization and medicine, and all the wonders of European empires that we gifted to them. Aren't we so just so lovely and kind and generous? That tenor of the conversation, that's definitely been there a long time.
What if I told you, Andrew, that they actually don't even care if you know that they're racist? That's just kind of like part of it. In fact, it's like they know that everybody knows, and they get a kick out of like just still pretending like they're not, or like, paying lip service to not being racist whenever they really have to. It's I have a clip. Can you believe that? I have another clip.
What?
Bob's like, fucking clips. But this one's really, really telling. So like, what's kind of funny in a fucked up way about this one is that that Ryan Kinnell seems to be the in joke within the Fandom Menace Friday Night Ties crew, is that Ryan Kinnell is the one who's like legitimately, sincerely, severely, proudly fucking racist. You know what I mean? Like, they all are really, but like Ryan Kinnell's like, and I've always said that he does seem like he's one bad day away from a Sieg Heil on stream. You know what I mean? Like, just the mask is like constantly trying to fly the fuck off.
I've always said that he has Sieg Heil face. If Sieg Heil was a face, that's the face.
He definitely has Sieg Heil haircut. But yeah, yeah, you know what? That one's actually good. I need to edit that one because it's got that really loud fucking thing because somebody else edited it originally, and I don't want to do that. But here's this, and then we're gonna get out of here in a minute. So I don't know if anybody has any questions for us or for Chariot. By the way, if you're not subscribed to Chariot, you should be.
Thanks.
Yeah, your link is in the description, and that's just basically going to be included in perpetuity unless you want us to remove it, along with a bunch of other folks that have been on, and that's kind of how I'm doing it. Is as we have guests on, we'll include their link down there so that people can find. And it's really been one of the most common things that I hear is like, oh, I didn't even know there were channels that weren't like that. Or, you know what I mean? Like, that's so easy to find that content, chud content, that some people don't even realize there's something else out there. It's one of the things I've tried to do is make it, facilitate making it a little bit simpler to find other good content.
My solemn vow is the more people support what I do, the better it'll get. The more high tech, the more people I'll be able to work with. I have dreams. I have a dream that one day I will be able to hire an editor, and I hold tightly to that. That one day I can pay someone to take some of the workload off and also be better at it for their skills. I would, I've had friends like volunteer to work with me on stuff before, but I've never like tried to get somebody married to what I do just because it just doesn't seem fair to not pay somebody their worth for work that is real work. But a lot of the stuff that we've talked about today, I've got videos about a bunch of this stuff, and I'm planning on so many more. I just love talking about all of this. Not just dunking on chuds, which I'm totally here for. There are some days I watch 5 actual fandom videos, but
that's look, I'm gonna go ahead and say that's too many fucking actual fandom videos for the day.
I'm sitting it's when I'm sitting at my PC and I'm writing on things and I just queue up one of your guys' channels and I just go to town.
Fair enough. No, I mean, I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah,
and by the way, like your video being, of course, there's the spin, the narrative of like that you appealed to my ego by just like saying something positive about me, and that's true. That helped. But like it really, like on a more sincere level, like saying a positive thing about a content creator that you find value in goes a lot fucking further than you might think, especially whenever it's like us and we're doing the stuff that we're doing that is not the favored content on YouTube and actually gets a lot of fucking shitty pushback on a regular basis. To just like have someone just say, hey, like you're doing good stuff is really good. So like I just would recommend you do that to, not us necessarily, but sure us, but any YouTuber that you feel appreciation for, let them know in the comments. Or if you have your own channel, let them know in a video.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a shout out or something, because that can go a pretty long way. It was definitely something I needed to hear right around the time that I saw your video, and I was like, wait, this is actually, I think, the first video I've ever encountered just randomly where they're talking about me, but they're not like shitting on me. They're not, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, always happy to be supportive. And you know what, you guys, I think that's how we win. Not by destroying what we hate, but by saving what we love.
Holy shit! Yes. And by the way, if you're a Last Jedi fan, The Last Jedi, Chariot has a lot of content on The Last Jedi and a lot of like quality fucking content, like quality content.
Oh, thank you.
Not
or
just like
if you don't like The Last Jedi and you're just annoyed with Chud channel.
Yeah, true. Oh my god!
I mean, I'm hell bent to see the best in more or less every Star Wars film. I've also got a podcast that I do occasionally with some friends. We've talked about Star Wars on there. It's it's all on my channel page. So
I might need to get you to make a case for Rise of Skywalker at some point for me. So like maybe I'll.
Yeah,
you're giving me what a challenge! What a
yeah, I was about ready to say that. That's the one where it's like, oh.
You sure you don't want me to fight Tyson? I mean, it'd be easier.
It might be easier.
It'd be less brutal, I imagine. The fact that I'm not even gonna start. I'm not gonna start. Sorry. Almost did. Not gonna. Christ on.
Yeah, it's probably my least favorite Star Wars film, but I just love.
Yeah, I
love
bounced
Star Wars
between that one and Attack of the Clones.
Oh, I could make it. I could make the case for Attack of the Clones.
I could honestly, Attack of the Clones is not not a good movie, but the thing is with Rise of Skywalker is that it is the final film in the Skywalker saga, and it fucking, because of, I don't know if are you familiar with Rewriting Ripley, Chariot, the blog / podcast
channel?
Holy shit! I know that you're going to appreciate this.
That...
You definitely should. It's a blog and a podcast by just, I think, a handful of women who it's a whole thing, but like basically it makes the case that the Rise of Skywalker is what it is because of far right influence after and backlash to The Last Jedi, and they lay out the evidence for it and everything. And it's kind of almost like the foundational theory behind how I do content. And it's and so that element of it also really fucking just deeply upsets me that they won in that one regard. And it seems like since then, like Disney and other companies have figured out that type of backlash is not sincere fandom, but at that point I think it was still too fresh and they didn't know the difference.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's quite possible.
Well, the backlash to Last Jedi was intense. I remember for a time being like, am I insane? Then I'd watch the movie and be like, no, I still really like this.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to feel a deep-seated sense of injustice, not that you should incur that upon yourself willingly, just go look up like the aggregate reviews, both dual meta scores for like reviewers and for audience scores.
Mm-hmm.
Look those up and compare them for Rise of Skywalker and for Last Jedi, and then scroll down and read some of the audience comments. It's interesting.
You mean just like the copy paste 1-star comment type shit?
Yeah, I actually reacted to a Yellow Flash video once where he tried to make some sort of point about an article that was written by a guy who I guess covers films sometimes, and the article essentially said like these audience reviews are worthless if they don't actually if they aren't actually marked like verified having seen the film.
Mm-hmm.
In some regard, and because if you're a critic and you review a film that you haven't seen, that's your opinion is almost necessarily discounted.
Right.
But unless you're Slavoj Žižek, but if you're doing that as an audience member, that's the norm for a lot of these people. And Yellow Flash did not like that he made that observation, and then I had it felt very psychotic, like a psychotic experience on stream watching that. And then I think the Smudcast guys reacted to me doing that, and I don't think I thought about watching it, but then I was like, I don't think I will.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't imagine that'll be overly insightful.
Just real quick, I feel like you're adding an unnecessary L to Yellow Patch's name.
Yeah.
Oh,
sure.
yeah. Sorry. Just the two then. Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. So let's go ahead and get out of here, because man, we could keep going. I think this has been great.
Oh yeah, have me on again sometime, and we'll talk shop on Last Jedi or something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because I could talk about that film all day.
Somebody's got a super chat. It's got to be you, Bob. All right.
Yeah. Andrew, thank you for the ranking. 1, 2, 9, 8, 7, or 3, 7, 4, 5. I can't get behind the original trilogy being in the back, but thank you for the super chat.
Is that Rise of Skywalker ranked third best Star Wars film? I kind of respect the moxie of putting like Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Rise of Skywalker at the top. I can't even be mad.
Yeah?
That's actually ridiculous. I love it.
It was
worst to best.
Okay.
I see. Okay, well then I'm still not sure I agree,
that makes way more
but
sense.
I appreciate the Return of the Jedi love, because that's that movie's an experience. But I think Revenge of the Sith should be higher. Is my one point of feedback. My favorite Star Wars film by far.
Is it really?
Yeah, it really is.
You are from a slightly younger crowd than I guess we are, and that's something that's like it's been a trip to accept, is that there are people who came up with the prequels and are like actually prefer those, And I'm just like, okay, I don't get it, but I'm really gonna try hard to validate you. Okay.
I am right there with you.
Thank you.
Just like
your
I
experience
don't
was
know if I
valid.
can handle this dialogue, but I respect you.
I think Phantom Menace is a good movie.
All right, we gotta go. I noticed you asked to come back on before you said that too. So
yeah, right.
I object to being shouted from that podium. I am no Kool-Aid drinker.
Oh man.
Sorry, that was beautiful. A libertarian rally that I forgot that I clipped that drop from. All right.
That's
everybody,
that's great.
please hit the links in the description and check out some of those channels. Definitely check out Chariot and maybe ours if you're not subscribed to mine, to Organized Chaos, to Turf Nation, to Eric Debunks, Eric Reloaded even. There's a bunch of channels down there.
Smash that like button. If you don't want to smash it, you can just go ahead and press it regular. We'll forgive
They're
you.
not even, nobody's even paying us to like put those channels down there, by the way. That's just like, we like these channels. They make good content. So check them out. And on the way out, here is a short that I made about the Jim the Casual situation back when that happened in November of 2022. Peace.
Okay, what's more racist, calling somebody a nick or doing a lynching?
I'm out.